I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. Let's stay here for a lifetime underneath the moonlight, 'cause I don't want us to go. No, I don't want us to go home. Yeah, you could be my lifeline, you could be my sunshine in a world so full of pain. Can you make it go away? It used to be so sad that love was lost, but now it's here to stay. Yeah, I used to be uncomfortable, but look at me today. Never thought I'd find someone like you, someone to show the way. But now I know you're the answer to my prayer. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I'm sorry for the burden, sorry I was hurting, but my scars are almost healed. Yeah, my scars are almost healed. Yeah, I'm feeling like a child now, everything's alright now, and it's all because of you. You made the flower in me bloom. Used to be afraid of everything, but now there's no more fear. Yeah, I used to let nobody in and hide my face with tears. But without you as someone who can love someone like me, but I was wrong, baby, now I believe. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you.
All right, good morning, everybody. How are you? How are you? Hope you're doing well. Lots of stuff to talk about. On today's show, I want to talk about media moves. A lot of stuff has been happening with the media. And since we did the show yesterday, there was a big outage. Everybody's, a lot of people, millions, if not billions of people's access to Facebook was cut yesterday for about 6 hours. I'm curious, how did you pass the time? Some folks is on Facebook 1,000%. How did you pass the time? Were you able to get through? Were you anxious? I'd like to get your thoughts about it. I kind of noticed it. I want to talk about that. Plus, there was a very interesting interview that was done by a whistleblower on 60 Minutes. And since we spend so much time on Facebook, and I know so many choppers that have been put in what they call Facebook jail, I thought it was interesting what she revealed. And if you didn't see it, I'm going to break it down for you and give you some views you can actually use on that particular topic. And so we're talking about media. I might spend some time this morning talking about media in general. That's Ozy Media. That's Roland Martin's new platform, and also Stephen A. Smith in the show First Take. Again, you get the benefit with me from listening to a person that spent 20 years in media and has been successful on all levels, whether that be public radio, commercial radio, and now digital media as well. So I've got a very experienced and unique viewpoint as it relates to these kind of things. And I want to talk about it with you this morning. So listen, as we get started here, please do the world a favor, family. Do the world a favor. If you're not going to do it for me, do it for the world, Craig. And that is like, and in particular, share today's show. Let the world know there's some people in this city that's got some damn sense. All right. In this world that's got some damn sense. So do the world a favor. Do your mom and them a favor. Do your cousins and them a favor. And share today's show with them, it means everything. It means everything. And even if it's in a place where you think people are already sharing the show, share it anyway. Let's be obnoxious with it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with that. Everybody's sharing all this other stuff out here. Let's share some, hopefully, what people might find some good content. So that's why I like to discuss this morning, among other things. Now, the show is always open. It's open for things that are happening in real time. I built this show for the age that we live in. And the age that we live in is the internet age. So let's take a couple of minutes. All right. I'll play the intro and then we'll get started. Don't go anywhere. TNI, where my people at? Good morning to you. Good morning and welcome back. Hope the last 24 hours have found you in a good place. Now, yesterday, Facebook went out. And the reason why I know is because I was trying to, no, not trying. I had just uploaded a video to my Facebook stories. I'm going to do a series. It might be a series. It might just be a one shot where I just kind of take you through my studio for two purposes. There's a lot of content creators out there in the audience, and I might be using some equipment that you can use, so I'll do some product reviews for you and just bring you into my world a little bit. It's a humble abode. It's just a room basically that I have repurposed for the purposes of doing a live stream show. But it's just so easier these days, man. In the time that I've just been doing this show online, the technology and the capabilities of what you can do has dramatically changed. We've been doing the show, 3 years now, 4 years now? Just in that time frame, family. And I know I'm looking a little scraggly. I'll look a little better later when we get in front of the camera. Maybe I might keep it the same. But just in the 3-4 years I've been doing this show, well over 1 million plays at this point. That's just the audio. Like, I can't even calculate how many views that we've been getting on Facebook since we've been doing it, and then combination of YouTube, but well over 1 million plays, which is a milestone for anybody that wants to do a podcast. You're looking at 1 million plays. I did it. We did it. But in those 4 years, the technology has increased. Like, I remember the things that I was looking at when I first decided to go online, and the cost and just what's available has dramatically changed. And there's so many content creators out there. I know there's content creators. I just want to help you. I won't say I'm going to waste my time and money, because I ain't with that. But I will spend my time and money to do reviews for you so that you can buy the best equipment. So, the best software and things like that. I'll say it again, for anybody that's interested, I use something called Restream. If you're interested in doing a stream, you can put up overlays and stuff like this. It's really simple. Then hit me up with a direct message, and I'll send you a link where you can get $10 off when you purchase your Restream account. Boom, there it is. It's a win-win for everybody. Plus, I'm going to do a how-to video on this as well, and so people can learn how to use this kind of stuff, because my interests are very simple. I keep saying it over again. My message is to create a platform where we can amplify our own narratives, period. I keep saying it over and over again. One day people will believe me, but I keep saying that. In terms of me personally, I'm Gucci, man. No one man should be as blessed as I am. No one man should be as blessed as I am. I wake up every day with a big old smile and go to bed every night with a big old smile. So life is good. Trust me on that. So look for more of that. So I posted a video yesterday, and I just, took one of the cameras and took some shots. Actually, I was this way. I was standing over there, just announcing that this week I'm going to release a tour, a little virtual tour of the studio. You might be interested. You might not be interested. So when I uploaded yesterday, it just took forever to upload. I'm like, what's going on here? I thought I did something wrong. You know how it is. You think you did something wrong. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I ain't do nothing wrong, man. It was Facebook. Facebook has some issues. I've read all kind of conspiracy theories about whether there was a protest against a whistleblower. I'm not sure if you hip to it, but 60 Minutes did a very interesting. And for somebody like me that uses Facebook, that's had issues with Facebook, if you remember, we were off of Facebook for like a month. I still don't know why. To this day. And I can't tell you how many of the choppers have announced that they've been put in Facebook jail. And it's the craziest thing ever. Like right now, Facebook is doing all kinds of stuff with the friends who like the Nathan Ivey Show page. So when you post it, there's a little bit delay. That's Facebook. It's not me. And I watched this thing with this whistleblower on 60 Minutes, man. And basically what she told us that Facebook is full of ish. They're pressing down hard on you and me, while they already know that their platform is corrupted. Very interesting. We'll talk about it. Plus, I finally got a chance to get up to date on Ozy Media. I'm a media guy, so I like to talk about, think about, and analyze media moves. Including Roland Martin's Black Star Network. Will it work? Well, we don't know yet, but I do have some strong opinions I share with you. And Stephen A. Smith, the mercurial Stephen A. Smith. If you don't know, he is the star of ESPN right now, the host of First Take. And within the last month, I think there was a major shakeup to the show. And so far, the ratings are saying it was not a good move. And it doesn't surprise me one bit. I never thought that the move that Stephen A. was trying to make was going to be a good move. I didn't think that at all. I understood his rationale, but I questioned as to whether it was going to work, because I know media. At least I got some insights into media. 513-873-7134. Can you hear me? Can you see me? We Gucci? Good morning to you. Good morning. Angela writes, I just got out of Facebook jail last week. Facebook should put its own self in jail, if you believe what this whistleblower had to say. Because Facebook realizes that their algorithm is set up in a way that it promotes divisive, violent, and negative content. They already know this. What they also know is that they've got serious analytics to back this up, that Instagram is harmful to young girls. Instagram is harmful to young girls in the sense of that they did some analysis over the years, and what they found out is that when young girls get on Instagram, it makes them feel bad about themselves. Some of them. Now we're talking about a small percentage. Makes them feel bad about themselves, make them feel bad about how they look, makes them more prone to think about thoughts of suicide. I mean, it all came out in this 60 Minutes piece. Facebook already know this. And I can see that. I can see you being like a young teenager or whatever, or just being impressionable. I'm not really impressionable. So Facebook doesn't really pull me like that, and Instagram don't pull me on like. But if you get on Instagram, it can be a thirst trap. It ain't nothing but sexy, beautiful people doing sexy, beautiful things, living their best lives, laying on the beach in Ibiza, on the yachts, perfect bodies. Everybody got a perfect body. Everybody's perfect with the dance moves. You know what I'm saying? Anybody check out Rosie Lucci? Where you at, Jerica? You check her out? I told she is one of the dopest choreographers, dancers out there. But I can see that. Facebook knows all of this, but they keep it going because they want to control our time. They want us to be on Facebook. I'm on Facebook right now because on some levels they're indispensable when you're building a show or media or whatever. You don't have to do it, but a lot of people choose to do it, and I get it. I tell you, the problem with Facebook is that Facebook doesn't have any competition. That's the problem with Facebook. You know, competition is good for consumers in terms of innovation and price. Now, Facebook is free, but it does come with a price in terms of opening up your life and your privacy. Facebook got whole profiles. Facebook knows what you're going to do every day before you do it, because you've been doing it every day for the last 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 3 years, 2 years. And they have a digital profile on what you like just based upon what you click on. They got whole profiles. They know what you're going to do 2 weeks from now before you even do it, because you've been doing it. Humans are creatures of habit. Man, I wish I could get my hands on that kind of data. I would rule the world. I would rule the world. I don't know what the hell that is. I would rule the world. Invaluable information. If I can if I can predict what humans are going to do before they do it, that's like a crystal ball. You know, that should be valuable. Super valuable. Good morning to you. 513-873. Everybody, all my friends in Facebook jail for doing stuff that Facebook does every single day. You post something that Facebook says is divisive, they'll cut your ass off. But their algorithm is set up to promote the divisive content. The problem with Facebook is that Facebook doesn't have any competition. And so they'll never innovate at the level and the speed that they should, because why should they? There's nobody close to them. Somebody, and that's way beyond my capabilities, should create another. And people have. I know Ice Cube, they created Black Facebook, but they just can't. Those things haven't taken off because of a lot of different reasons. Like sometimes it's just timing. And then it's just a supremacy of Facebook. Facebook is every fucking where, man. If there are aliens from another world, they've got a Facebook account. Speaking of which, man, there's a video out here, man, that should be titled "When Brothers See UFOs." It is the most hilarious thing, man. Black people so funny. We so special. We is so special, man. I may play that for you later on today. It's hilarious. 513-873-7134. If you want to transform your brain waves into digital talk radio waves this morning, I will be the conduit. I will be the conduit. Good morning to you. Again, open your mind before you open your mouth and shit. The more the year goes on, I've been finding I'm being less and less patient. My patience is running thin with the nonsense. I ain't got no time for it. Okay, so if it spills out on you, it's not my fault. It's your fault. Just saying. I'm not ready for that one. Put this down. Trying to do a show with a burned tongue is not fun. It is not fun. I've done it. Regina's in the house. She writes, good Tuesday morning. Well, good Tuesday morning to you. Today, of course, is the first day of early voting. Yay, early voting. And speaking of which, we got a couple of political ads I want to play for you real quick. Check this out.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scotty Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scotty Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scotty Johnson.
I'm former Mayor Dwight Tillery asking you to vote for my friend, Michelle Dillingham, who is a Democrat running for Cincinnati City Council. The Black population in our city has declined, pushing Black homeowners out while speculators purchase their houses for pennies on the dollar. Black people are being foreclosed on because of rigged housing and economic systems.
Michelle Dillingham will fight for you. This is Victoria Strong. You know me, Sister V. City Council prefers investing in a soccer stadium and gentrifying our historic neighborhoods. Malcolm X said that if you don't own land, you're nothing but a squatter.
Come on, Michelle, talk to the people.
City Council is being sued for discriminatory tax abatement programs that unfairly enrich wealthy white neighborhoods. I know because I've been fighting for reform for years. Isn't it time to elect a candidate who will stand up for the people over special interests? Vote for me, Michelle Dillingham, Democrat for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by Dillingham for Council Committee.
All right, good morning to you. Real quick. Got to do what I got to do. You already know. Got a big decision. And you'll hear more. You'll hear more. It's always interesting the people that are aware of the platform and who reaches out first and things like that. Always very, very interesting. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Again, these are not endorsements. These are just political ads. You know, this is a platform like any other platform. I don't do endorsements. But what I will say to the audience and to the choppers is pay attention to the people that pay attention to you and where you are. Let's put it that way. Pay attention to the people that pay attention to you, no matter where they may be. So I'll leave it just like that. Good morning to you. Good morning. Welcome back. Deborah writes, fortunately, I was so busy yesterday that I didn't hear about Facebook until after 5, and I didn't even try to get on Facebook until after 5 p.m. But then I did. But when I did try, surprise, I couldn't. Yeah, I was busy yesterday. I was out. You know what I'm saying? I was working this body, staying healthy for about a good 90 minutes shortly after the show. I was trying to get on Facebook because I was trying to upload a video to my Facebook stories, and I wanted to see, you know, how it was performing. Other than that, I was checking on the friends page. Other than that, I had other things that was preoccupying me, so I wasn't like anxious or trying to get back on. I mean, you know, hell, you know, you're looking at an old school gamer. So Xbox, PlayStation, sometimes they go out. It happens. No big deal to me. It wasn't the end of my world. But it just, I've been telling people for a long time, I don't want to put my content in the hands of anybody other than me. So I have plans for my content and the content that we're creating that you'll hear more about soon that don't necessarily include Facebook, and maybe it does a little bit, but you know, my issues with Facebook is deeper than that. You know, I'm noticing, I'm like, why is all my people being put in Facebook jail? But then I see all this other nonsense on Facebook. Facebook allowed Donald Trump to use its platform to lie about Barack Obama's citizenship. They had no problem with that. They had no problem with it. But you use the N-word, they want to cut you off for 2 weeks. They let this man lie for years. That culminated in the insurrection on January 6th, and they allowed their platform to be used as a tool for insurrection. But now you use the N-word in a Facebook group with 500 people in it, and they want to cut you off. The hell? It don't make no damn sense. I don't care. They cut me off or not. So what? You know, you already know. You know how I handle it. So what? There's too many platforms out here. We'll just jump to another one. So, you know, real is real. It is what it is. And Facebook, their algorithm is set up, at least according to this whistleblower, is set up in a way that will basically, you know, help you if you got a lot of divisive content, because people are drawn to divisive content. And just being in the media, I already know that. Like being in the media, there's a big difference between what people say they want and what they actually react to. There's a big difference between what people say they want and what they actually react to. People say one thing and react to another all the time. They do it on this show. They do it on every show. They say they want this, but they really want this all the time. And Facebook ain't perfect, you know what I'm saying? Mark Zuckerberg, you know, some might even say Mark Zuckerberg was a crook, the way he not stole, but the way he started Facebook. Y'all know that story? That's a real interesting, and it's not a documentary, but it's called The Social Network. You should check it out. It's on, last time I saw it, it was quite interesting. It was on Netflix. Yeah, he swindled the Winklevosses, 2 white Ivy Leaguers. They were athletes. They had an idea for something similar to Facebook way before Facebook that was going to be just in Harvard. And they reached out to Mark Zuckerberg to get his help because he was a well-known programmer at the time. Zuckerberg was already thinking about some stuff over here. And when he got their idea, the light bulb went off. So what did he do? He stonewalled them while he was writing code. He said, yeah, I'll be over tomorrow. Can't come tomorrow. Oh, I'll be over next week. Can't come next week. Or I'll be there on Thursday. Thursday comes. He ghosted you. He ghosted them. And while he was ghosting the Winklevosses, that's their real names, he ended up making $1 trillion company. So again, in our society, the ends justify the means. People don't care if you gotta stab people in the back or you gotta shovel dirt on somebody's grave. Nobody cares about that anymore. The only thing people care about is the results. People don't care how you built it. They only care what you built. That's the truth. That's the truth. Don't nobody care ethics, morality? Oh shit, that don't mean nothing. That means nothing today. It's all about results. It's all about cheesing next to a car or hopping on a plane or showing off your house or showing off your jewels or saying I'm this or that. That's what it's all about these days. And it's kind of smart because that's what people react to. People say they want substance, but people really want that sizzle. They want the sizzle. That's the truth. I don't care about nothing. I don't care about nobody sitting around like, you know what, Mark Zuckerberg's a crook. No. People say Mark Zuckerberg's a genius. That's what they say. Betting public sports show writes, good morning, folks. The alt middle is here to catch rack. And you're going to catch it too. You're in the right spot for that, brother. Good morning to you. Angela writes, my cousin called me and told me about it being out. I didn't know what was wrong till she told me. Right. It was nothing wrong. Really, for 6 hours, we got our damn lives back. I mean, the point in fact is people spend way too much time on these motherfucking social media. Like I said, to me, this is business. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do. This is my business. If this wasn't my business, I probably wouldn't even be on Facebook. I don't give a damn. Facebook for what? You know what I'm saying? This is business for me. This is how I connect with the people. You know, this is part of my business strategy. That's why I do it. I don't need Facebook to be, or any social media to be entertained. If all social media ended, it'll be a lot less fun. A lot less fun. But I'd be okay. I got all these books back here. I just start reading. That's what we did. This is what we did before Facebook. We used to actually read, right? Now we just scroll. I ain't hating on you because I'm the same way. I'm just telling you. Don't get in your feelings. Where you at, Tracy? He's Facebook shaming me. He's Facebook shaming my brain. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Speaking of gosh, Lord, forgive me for my brash delivery. There it is. I'm in. Yeah. All my good Christians out there, you can't say nothing to me because I just prayed. You can't say a damn thing. Daryl writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you, Daryl. Good morning to you. Kush writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Kelly writes, good morning. Nat writes, good Tuesday, Choppers. Oh my God, got to change it up. Can't keep saying it the same way, right? Daryl writes, the data Facebook has is ridiculous. They're all about the money. Remember Sheryl Sandberg? Lean in, shaking my damn head. I keep telling you, Facebook, and again, I'll go on 60 Minutes. Go on 60 Minutes is on their YouTube page right now. You can watch the whole thing. Now they got it broken up. You can watch the whole thing, man. It was hella interesting. Facebook is just as dirty as everybody else out here. It's the truth. They know what they're doing. And they built an algorithm that supports and rewards divisive content, violent content, content that makes people react to it very emotionally, which makes sense because that's human beings for you. And then these mofos will turn right around and ban you because, man, I've talked to people who have said all kinds of stuff they got banned for. Didn't even use any extreme language, racial epithets, right? They didn't use the N-word and they get banned. And I'm like, so Facebook is going to ban you because you're a peon. You don't matter to them. And then they'll use you when they trot up to Congress and say, look, we banned 1 million users because of their content. So we're doing everything that we can to try to make sure our platform is a place that's about promoting peace and harmony. Knock it off. The problem with Facebook is that Facebook doesn't have competition. That's the problem with Facebook. And I'm in no position. I don't have you're talking about some big pockets for something like that. But it's possible, though. Don't ever believe it's not possible. It is possible. It's the nature of human beings. It is totally possible for somebody to come up with a social media. Because remember, MySpace came and went. But Mark Zuckerberg is smart on a different level. part of his smarts is making sure he shuts the door behind him so the competition can't creep up. So we'll see what happens. Really, what needs to happen is that the government needs to come in and regulate Facebook. That's what needs to happen. And everybody knows it. And Facebook is trying real hard. That's why Angela and people in the chop shop, they keep dealing with you, because then they can run back to Congress and say, oh, look at what we're doing. We're self-regulating. Man, if you don't get the hell out of here, not you. Come on in here. You can come in here. I like the way you walked in here, man. Do that again. Do that again. Who do you think you are? Walking in here like that. Okay. I like that, man. I like that. Good morning. Good morning. Where's the camera at? There it is. Got to look in the camera.
Daddy.
No, he's not doing the baby talk.
Daddy.
What is it?
Yesterday.
Oh, you cut yourself? You're 6, man. That's going to happen.
Good morning, the choppers.
You got to talk louder. You got to talk into the
Good-
microphone.
I can't even.
There it is.
Good morning, the choppers.
Go! Get to the chopper!
Where is your brush at? Here it is. Take daddy's. Go tell your mama to brush your hair. Give this to your mother.
Mine is.
Give that. That's a better brush. Give that to your mother. Give that to your mother.
But mommy told me to put my shoes.
Then put your shoes on. And then when she comes down here, then she can get you together. 6-year-olds, man. Tiffany writes, good morning. JD writes, our small business lost money yesterday when IG went down. We primarily communicate and book appointments via IG. It dev slowed us that we shouldn't rely heavily on these social media apps. Absolutely. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry, you talking about the black business? I'm talking about the Black Family Library? Mm-hmm. Love what you're doing. Love what you're doing. You know, the door is open, JD. Anytime you're doing something, got new books or want to connect with the community, just hit me with DM. We'll make it happen ASAP, always. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. So what is your strategy now? Or are you just in like the thinking phase? Like, how do you work around this if you use social media to make your money? Because I can see that. I can definitely see that. And that's IG is good for that. IG is real good for that. It's real. You can find me on IG at nathaniveytv. Same as Twitter, nathaniveytv. You can find me there if you want to connect. We haven't already connected. Not happy to hear that. But yeah, I mean, if you're a business owner or whatever, an influencer, whatever you might be, doing a podcast, you got to ask yourself, like, so, what's my way around all of this? You know what I'm saying? Got to think about that. Angela writes, the reason I got a Facebook page was because I was looking for my dad, and it paid off. A friend of mine found him, and he didn't have a page. So I was blessed. That was 9 years ago. Me and dad are so cool now. So I thank them for that. Wow, that's a great story. I love hearing that. That is a great story. Oh, man. Damn, Facebook, man. Everybody's on Facebook, or somebody that you know is on Facebook. JD writes, I missed Michelle's campaign song for the last election. What was it? I can't remember what it was. I may have it somewhere in my files. I'm sure I do. Y'all out the door? David writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, David. Good to see you, brother. Let me see. Charles writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Dale writes, headline on HuffPost, Nate. Okay, let me go to HuffPost. What's on HuffPost right now? Testimony time. Facebook puts profits before people could destroy me. Yeah. Oh, it's worth it. I mean, so many people on Facebook, you should pay attention to this story. It's definitely worth your time. The ex-manager will urge Congress to regulate the firm coming forward despite the tech giant having infinite resources which could be used to destroy me. You know Mark Zuckerberg could destroy you in a minute because he got all the dirt. He knows who's cheating. He knows who's lying. He knows all the dirt because people put all that shit on Facebook thinking that nobody's going to see it. It's just my account, thinking it's on their phone. Mark Zuckerberg got all the dirt. He could blackmail half the population if he wanted to. I'm sure he's got all kind of dirt. And that kind of leverage can go a long way. Frances Haugen, that's her name, is set to testify today before Congress. That's going to be interesting. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm for regulation. I'm for regulation of certain industries. Because, check it. Don't give me all that capitalism doo-dah and jazz. I don't want to hear all of that. If you create something that's so big that it has an omnipresent impact, because Facebook is omnipresent. It's everywhere, all the time, 24 hours a day, every single day. And kudos to Mark Zuckerberg. He's built something that's quite impressive. Props to him. But it's so big that it threatens to have an impact that's larger than anybody could have predicted. And like I said, Facebook has shown that it's no friend to the people. It's shown that it's no friend to black people. Look at what they allowed Trump to do. You know what I'm saying? They allowed Trump to use their platform to spew his lies, his venom, his racist attacks against black people, against Barack Obama. Birtherism is nothing more than a racist Southern strategy that worked. And then they sat back and allowed Facebook to be used as a tool to rally people for the insurrection and did nothing about it. But like I said, you can be in Cincinnati and you post the N-word and they want to ban you for 2 weeks, a month. I know plenty of people that's been banned multiple times. The strike system doesn't work accurately. It should not be possible for somebody to complain about you and Facebook ban you before they do an investigation. That is backwards as hell. That's undemocratic. So yeah, Facebook should be regulated. That's the problem with Facebook, is that it doesn't have competition, and it's regulation time. It's regulation time. Just like the internet needs to be regulated. You know, I'm a big supporter of net neutrality. We cannot trust Spectrum. You definitely can't trust Comcast. Comcast is in court right now, you know, arguing with big time $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 an hour lawyers that they own the internet. You don't own the internet. If you're a content creator, you should be paying attention to net neutrality. I've been saying it for 5 years. I'll keep saying it. You know what I'm saying? You should pay attention to these kind of things because it governs the way you do your business. If you're not hip, then read. So yesterday, man, we got a chance to realize what life would be without Facebook. And guess what? We can do it. We be okay. We got a little 6-hour window into what life would be like without Facebook. Life goes on. The internet's still there. You still get on Twitter. You still get on your Facebook. Your website, and do all the business you need to do. You still pay your bills. You just can't signify and be messy as hell. And that's all it is digital signifying. People just talking dumb-ish. Like, I see people leaving comments sometimes that's beneath me, quite honestly. I don't have time for the shit I see other people got time for. I ain't got time to leave no dumbass comment like that. Signifying, instigating, getting other people's business. And then you got the people that use it for business. Okay, that's what people is doing. Oh, man, living vicariously through other people's lives. And that's Facebook. Instagram is a thirst trap. If you're not a strong person, Instagram will have you so insecure. It'll have you so insecure because everybody's beautiful. Everybody's got a perfect body. Just ordinary people. See, it used to be we thought it was the celebrities. Oh, no, sis. Oh, no, bro. You go on Instagram right now, early in the morning, it's workout time. People with perfect bodies, perfect lives, perfect homes, perfect dogs, perfect dishes. Everything's perfect. Everything perfect on Instagram. Everything. Dance routines flawless. Knowing damn well they spent the whole weekend working on that damn routine and flubbed it every single time. But the one time they got it perfect, that's what they upload. And you looking at it like, how they do that? How they do that? You know, trying to do the moves. I was purposely being stiff. For y'all start with the jokes. I was purposely being stiff. But that's what Instagram would do. And again, like I said, on that 60 Minutes piece, the whistleblower said that Facebook did an analysis many years ago. And what they found out is that Instagram can contribute to feelings of depression in young girls, making young girls feel like they want to commit suicide. and basically making them feel like they're not good enough. And I totally get it, man. Let me go on Instagram right now and show you what's on my IG. Everybody looking beautiful, perfect bodies. Everybody, look at this. Just look at this. People doing transformations that you ain't did. I ain't made no transformations. Look at this right here. Let's look at that. This is my IG. Look at that. Perfect bodies. Look at that. Everybody doing squats. Look at dudes. She doing one leg squats. How the fuck you do that? It is. I don't know what that is. That's some crazy shit right there. Look at the women all looking just, let's just say like women. Come on back. Come on back. Find me. Damn camera. Where we at? Okay, it got me. Let me scroll down a little bit. Perfect bodies. Look at this. Everybody looking perfect. Look at that. Except that girl with the big eye. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Can you see that? Look at that. And they got 6'9" in there looking like a damn fool. Look at that. How you get his back like that over there? Look, who are these women? Just average, ordinary women just looking perfect. Hell yeah, that shit'll drive you crazy if you're not a strong person. Especially if you're a teenager. You know, I remember what it was like to be a teenager. You know, you're unsure of yourself. You're awkward. Your hormones is doing this. You're not really sure what you're going to be and who you are and what you're going to look like and what you should look like, right? Don't know what to wear in some cases. And you get on Instagram, everybody perfect. Everybody got it all figured out. People laying on the beach, Kardashian style, just average people. Everybody's in love. Hashtag Black love. I mean, look at this. Everybody looking like a snack. Look at this. Look at this. I follow. Look at that. What's his name? Mini Snacks. Mini Snacks. And yes, that does look like a mini snack, though. Let me follow this real quick. Okay, there. Fun later. For my eyeballs, some fun later. We happy. We's happy, boss. Brenda Rapp writes, happy Tuesday. I don't know what you tune in for this morning. This is what I got for you. Charles writes, Grand Risings, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. I am a man. I keep telling you. Gladys writes, good morning, Nate. And the Choppers. Foggy morning. Be careful. It is a little foggy outside. I love it. I love this time of year. Angela writes, white people say what they want on Facebook, but when we do, we go straight to Facebook jail. Do not pass go, LOL. I don't know if that's true or not, because a lot of my white friends are not complaining, that not telling me this kind of stuff, but I do know a lot of black folks go to Facebook jail that's in the chop shop and in my, in my general digital vicinity, because I hear about it all the time. So I don't know. I just know that complaint system is completely broken. It's completely broken. Crystal writes, we should pack our stuff and leave. Exodus in my Bob Marley voice. Where we gonna go? Go where? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know what my plans are, which I'm not gonna put all out there right there, because people are always watching. Like, oh, what do you say? I'm gonna do that. People are always listening and watching. But I mean, I've got some ideas on what my personal plans are, but where you gonna go? You know, this is what happens when you're on somebody else's platform. I don't own Facebook. You don't own Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg and his team of investors, they own Facebook, so they do what they want to do. Don't like it, get off of it. I already know. So that's why I don't really bellyache a lot about it. Remember back about a couple months ago when I had the issues with getting on Facebook? Okay, cool. We just go straight to YouTube. We go somewhere else. All right, boss. Cool. I'm going to go complain about what somebody else owned. I don't own the shit. Simple as that. That's how I look at it. Daryl writes, do you think it's possible? I think it's totally possible. What do you think? You think it's possible for somebody to create a social media platform that would compete with Facebook? 513-873-7134. Tracy writes, man, shut your ass up. She's so disrespectful. So damn disrespectful. Let me see here. Daryl writes, support black-owned social media narratives in Nubia. Okay. What's Nubia? Is that a platform? Let me check this out. Okay, I see it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I am into this. Yeah, I love what they're doing. We'll see if it takes off. People got that herd mentality though, so Tracy's in her feelings. What was you saying? You said, oh, I'm shaming you. Yeah. Let me see. Betting public sports show writes, Facebook is a trash app full of people believe they're exceptional but are quite average or below. Hashtag delete Facebook and see how much your daily disposition improves. I mean, do what you want to do with Facebook. I will say that we live in a time where, because of social media, everybody's full of themselves. Everybody's got a platform. It's interesting to see how people use Facebook. Like, it says, like I said, you can tell a lot about Facebook and about people by just looking at the kind of things they post on Facebook. You can tell a whole lot. At least I can. I can sit back and just read it. Delete Facebook and see how much your daily disposition. Man, I wasn't bothered at all yesterday. Like I said, I was busy doing other stuff. So whether Facebook was here or not, it made no difference to me. I didn't care. I agree with you though. Like, I wonder how much time the average person spends on Facebook. I really, really wonder. I bet you it's a whole lot. Mini snacks. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm still on that. It's the male in me. Crystal writes, Nathan, do not come for my soror. Nobody's better say nothing about Miss Jenkins. Miss Jenkins? Who's your soror? Who's Miss Jenkins? I'm not sure who you're talking about. If I'm coming for her, she probably deserve it, because that's typically me. I usually don't come for folks unless they deserve it. Martin writes, right, but in real life, they can get them paws put on them. I'm not sure what we're talking about. Mike Will writes, Facebook a CIA page anyway. Is it? They definitely work with the intelligence community. They definitely do. No doubt about that. Angela's in the house. She writes, good morning, Junior. Have a wonderful day. He's already gone. I love him come on the show, man. It makes my day. I get a chance to check in with my son every day, make sure he's looking right. May writes, morning, Nate and Choppers. They just let me out of Facebook jail. It's a whole 30 days because I shared my feels when Dad passed. So she spent 30 days in Facebook jail. And I don't know what the infraction was, but again, posting a lot of content, Facebook sends me messages about community standards. And I'm like, what community standards? I'm just posting. What are you talking about? The hell is you talking about? But that's just a par for the course. It is what it is. Micah writes, look at all these people. Micah writes, I got put in Facebook jail because of what I said about the woman who back in the day got the young black boy lynched. What did you say, Micah Douglas? Kush writes, but yet they let Trump lie about whether Barack Obama was a U.S. citizen, fomenting basically lies and what we've later saw terrorism, fomenting hatred and division. They had no problem with it. But you post something about, the white woman that got the young boy killed and lynched. No, you're talking about the open casket with his mother. Forget his name. Trey writes, good morning. Let me see. Facebook is a stolen idea. It was born out of theft. Same thing with Twitter, though, bro. Twitter was born out of theft. Same thing happened. You had 3 or 4 white dudes that came together to create Twitter, and it really started as something else. Twitter started as a whole nother idea, and it wasn't working, so they did a pivot. And when they pivot, they came up with Twitter, and it worked. And they ended up forcing out one of the original founders of Twitter, because shit, if hey, what's a bigger piece of the pie? Splitting in 3 ways or 2 ways? 2 ways. So they pushed his ass out. And then the 2 dudes, I think one of them still the CEO to this day, they took all the credit and all the money. So you're going to see that a lot. Like, this country ain't built upon virtue. You think this country's built upon virtue and doing the right thing? Where the fuck they do that at? This country ain't built upon truth and honesty and integrity. That's that BS they run down to you on church to keep you in line. This country is built upon who's the last man standing, period. That's it. Everywhere Mark Zuckerberg go, when he goes before crowds, if he's doing that kind of in-person stuff, he is lauded and applauded as a genius. Nobody's saying, what about the Winklevoss twins? Nobody cares about that. What do they care about that? No, they don't care about that at all. Might makes right. To the victors go the spoils. Last man standing. And the ends justify the means. The ends justify the means. We do the same thing with these hip hop artists. Yeah, he had to sell drugs, but he grew up impoverished in a white man's world. So he had to sell them drugs and poison to his own people. But hell, now he's a big time millionaire. So I guess it was all worth it. That's how we are as Americans. All that good people and virtue shit is bull. You know what? That's for the weak. The strong don't subscribe to that. That's for the weak, to give the weak some comfort about their daily existence. The strong take what they want. And they get applauded for it by the masses. Like, oh, look at you. Look at you. Look what you created. You no matter whether you stole the whole ideal or not. Your name is on it. That's the only thing that matters in today's world. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Virtue. Yeah, right. Oh, that's hilarious. That is pretty funny. Nat writes, I just use Facebook for certain groups and talk shows. I never post though. Yeah, I mean, whatever it is. Daryl writes, Facebook is a utility. Now you talking, Daryl. See, when you say Facebook is utility, that puts it more in line to be under the purview of net neutrality. Facebook should be regulated like it's a utility. They built something that's almost indispensable as digital citizens. And so listen, great for you. But now the government needs to come in and put some regulations in place to make sure that it's a safer space and a more equitable space, which it is not right now. That's just my opinion. But we also need competition. We need like Facebook 2 or Bookface or Moonface or Blueface, whatever the hell you want to call it. Sister Irish writes, good morning, great people. Crystal writes, then they ask if you agree or disagree with the decision. I always disagree, and the change is nada. Right. I always disagree too. And you can't, and it's very, very difficult to actually talk to somebody with Facebook. Very difficult. So you just kind of stuck. Let me see. Bunky writes, if you go on Nate's page, a few of you suckers in here play the overseer with your mammies, stay reporting people who disagree with them. Is that right? Is that right? I don't know. I haven't heard that. Charles writes, IG is the 50-50 body social media app. 50% work hard in the gym for them bodies and 50% wearing the knife for them bodies. Could be. Good morning to you, Ashley. Good to see you. Could be. May writes, one time they said they were wrong. I still got 30 days. Man, bump Facebook. I mean, I'm on it now. So I use it for what is good for, and then move on. Glorious Resurrections, I've been banned 14 times. The U.S. is a corporation, so I am not surprised. Title 28 U.S.C. 3002, Section 15. IG has sisters on there disrespecting themselves with what Bernie Mac said on the original Kings of Comedy. What the hell did Bernie, you brought up, Bernie. How you mixing Title 28 U.S.C. Section 3002, Section 15, and Bernie Mac? What in the hell? Charles writes, everybody is a model on IG, LOL. That's because everybody's trying to be an influencer. Everybody trying to get to the bag. They're trying to get their numbers up so they can go to some of these corporations and brands and say, hey, listen, I'm somebody you should be doing business with. And I don't doubt that, and I don't have no problem with it whatsoever. Do what you're going to do. Anthony writes, Nate is sleeping on the couch tonight if wifey is listening. Really? What did I say? What did I say? What time did I say this? We posted this at 7:55. What did I say about the wifey? I don't remember anything. May writes, I just got out yesterday. Really? Maurice writes, yeah, what Angela said is the truth. Mike Will writes, I did all my jail time in Lebanon, never Facebook jail. Eloise is in the house. Good morning, Eloise. She writes, good morning, happy Tuesday.
Get to the chopper!
Yes. One time for Eloise. Dale writes, narrative and Nubia. Right. Crystal writes, that's my point. Just go. I mean, I got a different plan, but right. Angela writes, Nate, don't let your right hand know what your left hand doing. Don't tell your plans. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. You already know. There's people right now. What do you say? Oh, yeah, okay. But I get that's the nature of things. I see you. Rat, monkey, snake, bastard yous. There's a whole lot of rat, monkey, snakes out there. And if you think I'm talking about you, I probably am. So it is what it is. Maurice writes, I've been telling copper-colored people, I have been telling copper-colored people, my people, to come together and start our own businesses. Oh, people, man, black people forming businesses left and right. And shout out to Mortar, man. Mortar is about to they're taking quantum leaps, man. You know, Mortar is going to be global inside of 10 years. Props to them, man. Props to what they're doing. Helping a lot of people. Akeem writes, buy Merck stocks. Crystal writes, sheesh. About what? What did I say? Tracy writes, I ain't in my feelings. I'm in the fog. Okay. Be careful out there then. Jared writes, my wife has a theory. They shut down Facebook to do a data wipe with the whistleblower testimony today. Made perfect sense to me. To do a data wipe with the whistleblower testimony yesterday. Do a data wipe with the whistleblower testimony yesterday. That sounds all technical and over my head. To do a data wipe with the whistleblower testimony. Maybe. I don't know. Tracy writes, thanks, Soror. Oh, so you was talking about Tracy and Crystal. Y'all sorors together? Okay, that's a beautiful thing. Sisterhood is a beautiful thing. Jenny writes, Emmett Till, thank you. I don't know how I couldn't remember Emmett Till. Facebook doesn't follow their own community standards, right? Now, it appears that way anyway. I used to go to Facebook jail when I have fun putting races in GCP, that's the Greater Cincinnati Politics page, in their place. Had to learn to use certain words and replace letters with symbols. Brian Groom, what's up? Brian G, what's up, man? Good to see you. As always, Anthony writes, what gets me, the smart dumb cats, they have reviewing postings. They have so many times taken what's posted totally out of context. Crystal writes, Emmett Till, and her name is Carolyn Bryant. Something similar recently happened. Young black male shot and killed for complimenting a white guy's white woman. Really? Really? Where they do that at? How I missed that? Akeem, he says, who cares about Bruce's Beach? What does generational wealth mean to you? Again, in no way. Listen, brother, can you post us a link? I'm aware of Bruce's Beach. I'm aware of the history. I'm aware of what's happening recently. I'm very aware of it. And I think this audience speaks a lot and is aware of the necessity of generational wealth. Just so you know, you're in the right place, brother. But hit us a link, man. Hit us with a link. Angela writes, I got put in Facebook jail because I called someone an effing saltine, but he called me a Negro first. I got a 30-day bid. Was you in isolation? Damn, they got you in ISO. Akeem writes, were any black people robbed of their land in Ohio back in the day like Bruce's Beach? You probably, come on, you can, while we don't know the particular stories, you can probably bet that. Hell, you can bet that. You could take that to the bank. Mike writes, Nate, the story you talked about 2 weeks ago where the white woman confessed to her nurse that she got a black boy lynched when she was a child because she was jealous his sister's dresses were prettier than hers. Oh, yeah, that story. Oh, snap. Damn. I hope she died. I hope it was a horrible, slow death. And I hope that she's burning in hell right now for what she did. Yeah, that's a real, it appeared to be a real story. It was a TikTok video that I saw online of a white nurse who was retelling a story about an elderly white woman that was dying under her care. And she said the woman kept having hallucinations, saying that there was a black boy who was looking at her in her room. And then she told the nurse the story, I guess, in a last-ditch effort to sort of cleanse her soul. And she told her this story about how when she was a kid, she falsely accused a little black boy of touching her or something like that. And the white men and the white folks posseed up. They got the black boy, they beat him, burned his body, lynched him, burned down his family home, displaced his whole family. You know why she said she did it? Because the little boy's sisters had dresses that looked better than hers. And so growing under in a culture of white supremacy, she was probably taught, whether implicitly or probably explicitly, like directly, that we better than them in every way. So she was like, wait a minute, Ma, if I'm better than them, why these little black girls got better dresses than me? And this is what she did. I hope she died terribly. I hope it was slow and painful. And I hope that she is burning somewhere in a special place in hell. You know what I'm saying? That's what I hope. I remember that. Shit got my blood boiling. Charles writes, it makes perfect sense. Does it? People love conspiracy theories. I mean, it could be. It could be. This ain't the first Facebook whistleblower. There's been other Facebook whistleblowers. And what data would they be dumping? And why would they have to shut down Facebook to actually dump data? I don't know enough about the technical aspects of it to say whether there's a reason behind that or it makes sense or not. But I mean, if you say so, we'll go with that. Let me see. Charles writes, he is saying you're sleeping on the couch for looking for those IG accounts. LOL. Why would I be sleeping on the couch for looking at an IG account? What the hell kind of relationships is some of y'all in? My wife don't give a damn about me looking at no damn IG account. And I don't care about her looking at no IG account. She can look at whatever else she want to look at. So what? That ain't no threat to me. This ain't no threat to my wife. Yeah, I'm still looking. I'm looking at it. When I look down, I'm looking at this. Hold on, so you can see it. Oh boy. Come on, camera. Come on. That's not the right. What the hell? That's not what I was looking at. This is what I was looking at. You talking about looking at this? Oh man, please. We real grown. We way past those days. That's that high school, 20-year-old kind of shit. What you looking at on IG? Look at the hell you want to look on IG. For that matter, if you want to look at some pornography, go ahead. I don't give a damn. What's that got to do with me? So no, that's not going to lend me up on the couch at all. If she's watching right now, she's shaking her head. She probably working, busy. Anthony writes, Nate, you were talking about the mini snacks on IG, bro. Yeah, I'm still looking at the mini stacks right now. Look, don't go on my IG page and then look at who I'm following. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, okay, I like this. October the 7th, the African American Chamber and the African American CEO Roundtable. They're going to have a discussion with David Mann and Avtab Puraval. It's all about business. It's going to be on October 7th at 12 noon. Is it going to be in person? Like, where exactly is it going to be at? It's virtual. It's virtual. Sponsored by the Cincinnati, African American Chamber. Okay, I'm going to be interested because I'm expecting for them to come a little differently with the questions. So that should be very, very interesting right now. So, okay, I see you, sis. I see you, sis. Getting the leg presses in, huh? Okay, that's all good. That's a beautiful morning. I see you. Yeah, get it in. Yeah, don't go on my IG and see what I'm following. I'm following a whole bunch of sexy women. I'm gonna tell you that straight off the top, because that's what I want to do. And I'm not on the couch. Why would I be on the couch? That don't even make no sense. Maurice writes, because it's all corporations, meaning if you are a corporation, you can do as you wish. UCC is something people need to learn. It depends on what your industry is. Some industries are more heavily regulated than others. To this point, social media platforms have no regulations whatsoever. They've been self-regulating. And so there's a big debate right now about it. So is Facebook worried about the testimony from this whistleblower? Probably so. I won't underplay that, because it's just like death by 1,000 cuts, right? And after the January 6th insurrection, a lot of people looking at these social media giants and saying, are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? Let me move on here. I want to talk about numerous things, not just Facebook. We can still talk about that. The problem with Facebook is that, number one, it needs to be regulated by the government as a utility. And it also needs, because that's what it's become. It's become a utility. And then Facebook also needs competition. So those are the two issues that I see about Facebook. But let me talk more about that. I want to talk about Ozy Media. Ozy Media, which I really enjoy. Ozy Media. I'm up to speed now. Carlos Watson is a black man, and he's the CEO. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, this is a news story. I saw him on, I think it was, I don't know, MSNBC or something yesterday. It's a news story that needs to be talked about. I'm always interested, as a content creator and a platform creator, I'm always interested in how other people and what other people are doing in creating platforms. I think it's fascinating, quite honestly. But I will say that, like, the big media companies, they don't want new platforms because it becomes more competition for them. Okay. Now, is there competition in the digital space? Yes and no. It depends on how you look at it. Like, yes and no. There is competition. We are all competing to some degree, but we're not competing at the same time. And I can talk more about that. But I thought that Ozy Media, and I didn't know this, but Ozy Media was sued for copyright infringement by Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. I didn't realize that. And it makes sense because when I first heard about Ozzy Fest, I thought it was Ozzy Osbourne. I could have swore that Ozzy Osbourne had an Ozzy Fest. And Ozzy Fest was it was a musical festival that was one part of the overall media strategy for the folks over at Ozy Media, which, you know, now I'm up to speed on it. Apparently they was lying about investors and lying about the numbers they had and playing games with the wording and splitting hairs and things like that. And now they have some big time investors. I'm talking about big time billionaire, multi-hundred millionaire investors, like the kind of people you really want to have backing you have walked away from it. And Carlos Watson is very interesting. Carlos Watson is a black man. Let me see if I can pull his image up for you. And I remember Carlos Watson many years ago because he was a contributor to MSNBC and also CNN. When I put his image up, you're probably going to be like, oh, that's Carlos Watson. And he's got a show now. I forget what it's called, but it seems to have legs and people seem to like it. Let me put this image up. So anytime you got a black man who is the face of what appears to be a company that's under some distress, I don't know, it piques my interest. And I'm interested in seeing how the world's going to interact with him. So this is Carlos Watson. He is one of the co-founders of Ozy Media. And he spent yesterday putting out fires and dancing and, you know, trying to do whatever he can to let people know that Ozy Media is going to come back. He says he doesn't know how, but they are going to come back. And like I told you, man, he was on MSNBC, and it just kind of felt like the host who was interviewing him was on some F-ish, like was really on the low, sort of like reveling in his demise, right? Because when I saw Carlos Watson about a year and a half ago, he was on the same show with the same host. It seemed to me like they were a little bit jealous of him. They were looking at him like, how this brother do this? Well, who that nigga, right? How he do that, right? And so now when things appear to be going bad, you know, it seemed like they was trying to pile on. They were asking questions that should be asked, but it seemed like they were piling on just a little bit, right? And, you know, say sometimes you start something that works, sometimes you don't work. You got to know when to walk away. Not every business works. Sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's the model, sometimes it's whatever. You never can tell. Okay, so I'm not all super upset about it. But I thought it was quite interesting the way that the media was reporting it. They was like dancing around like, yup, can't be us. And it just opens the question and begs the question, like, is there a place for new media platforms in the world that we live in? And I would say enthusiastically, yes. It depends on what your approach is, though, and, you know, what you're doing and who you're trying to do it for. And Ozy, their approach was quite interesting in the sense of, you know, it was journalism, but kind of journalism light. It was diversity without confrontation, right? Without conflict, which some advertisers are always going to gravitate to. But it appears, I can't tell you why it went wrong. I don't know enough about it. But I like what they was doing. I thought they had everything. I didn't know who their audience was, though. I mean, when I looked at Ozy, I didn't know who they were speaking to. They weren't speaking directly to black folks. Okay. I didn't know who they were. Like, I speak directly to black folks. You know, here at CDM, we know who we are. We know who we service. We know who gets down with us. It's going to be black people. It's just what it is. Intelligent black folks, right? Male and female of a certain age demographic, depending on the show that you're watching, right? I already know that. And so that's my lane. I stay in that. I'm not sure who Ozy's audience was. You know, it kind of seemed to me like their audience was white women who got a college degree or educated, but they still want to try to stay hip and woke on the latest stuff. And I guess if that's what their business plan, it is what it is. But it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward. It will be really interesting. There's even some talk about perhaps charges, because allegedly somebody associated with Ozy Media was impersonating a YouTube executive. And I think when you do that, you open the door for some kind of charges, security fraud, something like that. Again, I'm no expert on it. I'm just spitballing here and telling you what I think I know to this point, but we shall see. Let me see. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Oh, good morning, Tanika. Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate it. She posted a link for me. Appreciate it. Or for us. Carlton writes, out of the $1.4 billion in economic impact of Black businesses in Greater Cincinnati, $954 million is made by the top 5 businesses. We are less than 1%, including them. But Black people still need to grow in business a lot. $954 million is made by the top 5 businesses. Now, Carlton, I'm not going to second guess it. Let's say we take what you're saying as 100% facts. I have no reason to say that you're trying to bring disinformation or anything like that. Well, that just goes back to something that we've talked about here on the show before. And this goes back to city council. And this might even come up tonight since you're jogging my memory here. And that is, it's so easy to talk about concentrated poverty. Everybody got a plan to talk about concentrated poverty. All 34 of the people running for city council, if you ask them about poverty, concentrated poverty, oh, it's a big problem. We got to do something about it. I got a plan. In many cases, they'll say they don't really have a plan. They've got general ideas. But everybody agrees that concentrated poverty is a problem. Well, then you got to swing the pendulum to the other side of the conversation. If we're going to deal with concentrated poverty, we've got to deal with concentrated wealth. And see, when you start talking about dealing with concentrated wealth, they hit you with the S word. You know what the S word is, right? Socialism. Oh, socialism. You're trying to take what I rightfully earned. There is no way in hell that we're going to deal with our problem of concentrated poverty if we don't come up with ways of dealing with our problem of concentrated wealth. You know, Carlton, what he wrote right here underscores a problem that we already know in Cincinnati, right? Which is, Cincinnati is a great place to live if you got cash. It is a great place to live. Great place to live. There's some people in Cincinnati living their best lives. They is balling. They living good. They living real good. They driving what they want to drive. They living where they want to live. They eating where they want to eat. In terms of entertainment, the world is their oyster. They can get to anywhere in 20 minutes. They can afford anything. Bengals, Reds, you name it. FC Cincinnati, whatever they want to do, they can do it with style. I don't begrudge those individuals. It's good for you. But what about everybody else? You know, season tickets to the opera, to the play. You know what I'm saying? It's gala season. They're at every awards banquet. They live in Gucci in Cincinnati. There's a whole lot of people that's living real good in this city. Real good. They live in their best lives of several lifetimes in Cincinnati because they got this. You know what I'm saying? So the money is the money in Cincinnati is there, but it's in the hands of very, very few. You got about 10 families that's making all the bread in Cincinnati, the real money. And you know who they are. Because their names come up. When the big projects come up, their names come up. You know who I'm talking about. I ain't got to say no names. And it's a few black folks living their best lives. It's a few black folks living their best. They living good in Cincinnati. But what about everybody else? So to me, until we start coming up with a way to break off a piece of that concentrated wealth and then redistribute it in ways that are productive and make sense and are equitable to everybody else, we're going to have the same old problem. In 10 years, we'll have the same old problem. The same old problem. And if you ask city council members tonight, like I asked them tonight, so, because I've asked these questions, like, what is your plan to deal with concentrated poverty? You know what? The smart ones will say, well, you know what? They always say the same thing. That's a good question. That's a device. That's a rhetorical device to appear to be more comfortable. You notice all the political candidates say this. You ask them a question. Well, thank you for that question. And they hear they thinking, oh, God dang it, I don't want to answer this question, but thank you for that question. This is a game. If I ask that question tonight, like, what's your plan to deal with concentrated poverty? Some will say, well, you know what, Nathan, I'm glad you asked me that because you're right. And then as they talk, you realize they ain't really got no plan. They're aware of it. They're sympathetic to it, but there's no real plan. We don't have plans for like stuff like that in Cincinnati. Like we have plans to deal with perpetrators once they've committed crimes. But nobody's really focused on how the damn guns are getting in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? We got all the plans in the world with Shot Spotter and how to deal with crimes once they happen. But I rarely hear anybody talking about what's your approach to try to figure out how the guns are getting here. I never hear that. I rarely hear it. Everybody and their mama loves black babies. We love the little black babies living in poverty and can't stand their mama in them. Can't stand them when they get older. We love the babies. Oh, the babies. When they become teenagers, go sit your ass down somewhere and stay off of downtown and don't go downtown to the river, right? Same thing with poverty. Everybody got a plan about poverty. Oh, poverty is a problem. Poverty is a problem. So what's your plan to deal with concentrated wealth? Concentrated wealth? Never thought about that. So it's the same old, same old. It's the same old, same old. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Well, if I'm sleeping on the couch, man, I might as well keep on looking in. Man. I always find somebody new to follow on IG now. Always some good stuff to find on IG. Anybody go to the Lil Baby concert last night? I wanted to go. I like Lil Baby. I would take Lil Baby over Da Baby any day of the week. That's just me. I like the energy. But I did not go. Did you go? I know it was dope. So a few friends was down there. What's up, Nate? Can I get a Chopper birthday wishes for my son's Miles? He's 15 today. What? He's 15 today. 15? Oh my gosh, man. You 3 years away, bro. You 3 years away. Damn. That's your last boy? That's just the last child? Oh, man. I'm a little envious. Just a little envious. I'm like over a decade away. 15 is a beautiful age. And I know you're a great father, man. So happy birthday to Miles. And I hope he has a great 15th birthday. That's a great thing. Nate, I'm interested in your Stephen A. take. So if you don't know, I'm talking media today. So if you don't know, Stephen A. Smith is the face of ESPN. He is the face of ESPN. Can't say ESPN without saying Stephen A. Smith. And I'd be lying to you if I told you that over the years I haven't enjoyed watching him on First Take and things like that. I go back to Cold Pizza. Remember Cold Pizza? There were 2 or 3 shows that predated First Take. And one of them was Cold Pizza. And then it became, I don't know, what was it, First and 10 or something like that? And then it became First Take. But way, way back in the day, it was called Cold Pizza. And it was a debate show that starred Skip Bayless. This is way before Stephen A. Smith. And then they brought Stephen A. on, and it just clicked, and it worked. You had a white guy and a black guy. Say what you will, it worked. And there's a couple of motifs, if you will, that have worked in media in terms of talk shows since the beginning of time. And one of those is The Odd Couple. As a matter of fact, I think Fox Sports 1 has a show called The Odd Couple. And they have 2 hosts, and they come from different worlds and different approaches. And then they're The Odd Couple. Remember, there used to be a sitcom called The Odd Couple. And my people used to watch it when I was younger. And because they watched it, I was forced to watch it. It was Felix and the other guy, The Odd Couple. Right? I'm going to come back to that in a second. So, flash forward, Skip Bayless decides to leave. I'm not sure if it was a contract dispute or whatever. Skip Bayless wanted to be the man. So he left ESPN and went to Fox Sports 1. He does a show now with Shannon Sharp, which there are sometimes I like it. And then sometimes Shannon just pisses me off doing this, I don't know what the hell I don't know what I call it, but I wish he would do more analysis. But let me say this. So I've had people reach out to me that do all kind of podcasts, just getting some advice. And I've helped a lot of people with their podcasts and will continue to do so because it's what I do. I want to help my people. I've had people reach out to me that do sports podcasts. In fact, some of them might be watching right now. And so I'm talking about you. And they do sports podcasts that are regionally based. And, you know, I grew up and still enjoy sports programming. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like one of my biggest influencers was Jim Rome, white dude. The Jim Rome show was best sports talk ever by far, still to this day. So much fun to listen to. And I miss those days, man. Miss it. And there's a lot of elements of this show, including when we say rack 'em, that I got from that show. I say it 100%. You know, Jim Rome is the GOAT. The GOAT. Anyway, so you know, I spent a lot of time looking and thinking about sports talk and then how it impacts the whole talk arena. And for a long time, I believed that sports talk was the avant-garde. It was the cutting edge of talk in general. And there was a lot of things that people was doing in sports talk that, you know, I started to bring over to my own style and my own show. And I think a lot of people do, right? It just makes sense. And so again, I get it. I've been watching sports talk and analyzing sports talk, at least in my own head, and talking about it on my show for years and years and years and years. And so, you know, what I tell people, if you're going to do sports talk, then you got to be good at one or two things. Either you're local, so you got that local angle, or you're talking with the stars. That's one of the appeals of ESPN. They're so high on a platform, on a perch, that they get the big names. Lil Wayne comes in and talks about sports. Shaq comes in, talks about sports. Nelly comes in, talks about sports. Kevin Hart comes in, talks about sports. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson comes in, talks about sports, bringing those audiences and crossing over. That's what made one of the things that made, you know, those shows like First Take so special, because it was a crossover from pop culture, right? So Skip Bayless leaves, he goes to Fox Sports 1, and then ESPN, they pair up Max Kellerman, who's got a very interesting and very tragic background with Max Kellerman, and with Stephen A. Smith. And you had this odd couple instantly. And I thought that it worked. You know, Stephen A. Smith, the black dude, he's bombastic, he's loud, he gives into his emotion. Max Kellerman reserved. Max Kellerman coming from the world of boxing, he's more reserved, more analytical. He's got a different approach. I think that works with audiences when you've got two different approaches like that. It's that odd couple. And they did the show together for like 4 or 5 years until this past year when Stephen A., well, it was announced to ESPN, well, that Max Kellerman was leaving First Take to do something else. And then I saw all these interviews, in particular one with Ebro in the Morning with Hot 96 out of New York. You can find it on YouTube. Stephen A. Smith, they asked him, like, well, what's up with your boy? Why isn't Max on the team anymore? And Stephen A. said, because I didn't want him there. He basically said that for many, many years, he just felt like the chemistry wasn't there and that he wanted to try something different. And that he had been telling the bosses over ESPN every single year. Apparently, they sit down, they do a review, they ask Stephen A. what he thinks, which makes sense. They should. And for the last 3 years, he's been saying, we need to get Max off the show. I thought that it worked. I thought that it worked, and it worked for the reasons I told you before. It had that odd couple feel, white guy, black guy, one more emotional, one more analytical. And then, you know, Max could talk very intelligently about the world of boxing and all of like those combat sports. That was his wheelhouse. Sidebar, you may not know this, but Max Kellerman had a brother who, I don't know if he was a reporter or if he was a trainer, but he died very tragically. He was beaten to death by a friend of his in his own apartment, and then his body was set on fire. I don't remember the name. It was a black guy. He was a boxer, and he did some dumbish in the ring. I think, if I remember correctly, this particular boxer, it's a black dude, he I can't remember. I think he beat a guy up even after he was out or something like that. I think long after the refs, or I think he lost the fight. And when he lost the fight, you know how they go out there and they hug and they say, you know, good fight. He took a shot at the guy and knocked the guy out. So the guy, I think, had his hand out, was going to hug him or dap him, whatever. And this man, in his mental illness, they found out later, he was so upset he lost a fight. He actually swung on a dude and knocked him out. And I think that pushed him out of the sport. He actually started living with Max Kellerman's brother. And I don't remember all of the details, but one thing led to another. And this man beat Max Kellerman's brother to death with his own hands, like beat him to death, and then set his body on fire, the whole 9 yards. I mean, that's a very terrible situation. His name was Sam Kellerman. Sam Kellerman. I don't know if he was twin brothers, but he looks just like Max Kellerman. Looks just like Max Kellerman. And the guy that killed him, his last name was Butler. This happened back in 2006. And I can't remember. I think his name was James Butler. I'm on Wikipedia now. James Butler. And the dude has some issues. I don't even know if he's alive right now. He sucker punched somebody in the ring after he lost. And again, beat this man again. So again, Max Kellerman, you know, he's a sympathetic figure among the hallways of ESPN because of what happened with his brother. Just want to give you some backstory on that. It doesn't really matter. But now I'm reading that the first round of ratings came out. So they got rid of Max Kellerman. Let me back up. They got rid of Max Kellerman. They replaced him with like a round table of people. They brought in Michael Irvin. I don't know why the hell they did that. Michael Irvin is not good in that scenario. Michael Irvin is good on TV when he's a part of an ensemble, right? Like NFL Today or something like that. It's like 4 or 5 guys up there. And he's not asked to do too much heavy lifting. And he's got a minute or two to give his point and then you move on. But I never thought that he would be good as a duo. And so Stephen A. sitting there for hours with Michael Irvin with his crazy ass, who always seemed like he was doing dope that morning. He always seemed like he like a loose cannon. I never thought that was a good idea when I heard about it. I'm like, I don't know if he can do that. And I watched a little bit of it and I wasn't impressed because they're the same people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what you can see now is the dynamic has changed. Like when Max Kellerman was there, he's the reserved analytical type who is a perfect contrast to Stephen A's, you know, bombastic big personality that gets emotional and he'll lose it for a second and bring it back down. Well, Michael Irvin's the same way. So they got 2 black dudes arguing. They had 2 black, and to me, sports people don't tune in for that. And sports people tune into those kind of shows to hear intelligent dialogue and a breakdown as to the games, and they want to see the big names. That's why people tune into those kind of shows, and they lost that. They're bringing in Tim Tebow. I'm going to give them on Tim Tebow. And then a round table of other people, and there's just too much pressure being put on Stephen A. He's the constant, and there's a round table of people around him. I just don't think it works. But we'll have to wait and see. What you'll probably see is they're probably going to start reaching out to the Nellies and the Kevin Harts. They're going to probably bring more of those cultural stars back in to try to bring people and eyeballs back to the show. But I would never have replaced Max Kellerman with Michael Irvin. Never in a million years. Because you're losing the odd couple. You know, you got 2 of the same people up there. I watched it, man. It was the first week they started talking about Dallas, and I know why Stephen A. did it. Stephen A. has a reputation that he's built always criticizing Dallas. Why does he do that? Because the Dallas Cowboys are the most popular NFL franchise. They have fans across the world. So by taking shots at Dallas, he's now speaking to a larger swath of the audience. That's why he does it. And by bringing Michael Irvin on, who's a Dallas All-Star great, won 3 championships with them, right? Now he thought anyway, he was going to have somebody he could play that off of. But I thought the Dallas jokes got old a long time ago. And I just didn't think it was going to work. So we'll have to wait and see. My guess is that it's not going to work unless they start bringing in Kevin Hart's and Dave Chappelle and D.L. Hughley and Ben Affleck, you know, whoever's doing the movie will stop in and start talking a little sports. That might help him a little bit. But I think that Stephen A. underplayed what Max Kellerman brought to the table. He underplayed it. And sometimes you've got a perfect balance. And sometimes you don't know what you have until you lose it, quite honestly. You just don't know. And when I watch it, sometimes in certain segments, I can see the pressure that Stephen A is under, because he can tell this segment ain't going right. This ain't going right. But it is. I thought it was a great little ESPN family of First Take. You had Max, right? Nice blended mixed families. Those work on TV, right? White folks got somebody they can tune into and watch. Black folks got somebody they can tune in and watch. And you got something pretty right there. So women got something, and then she's bringing that female perspective. Why mess that up? Why mess that up to bring in Michael fucking Irvin? I never would have pulled that trigger if I was one of the executives there. I never would have did it. Nah, I don't like that. We're going to keep doing this. We might tinker with the colors and get you a new set, and then we'll bring in some more stars and bring in Kevin Hart every once in a while. But I'm going to replace you with, and then the other people they brought in there, it just don't work for me. But that's just me. Who knows? Next month or next ratings book, the ratings might be up. But what I read is that all the ESPN shows have better ratings than First Take now. So for media executives, be careful what you do. Keep what you ask for. You just might get it. So there's my take, Fame. What do you think? Dale, what's up, Dale? What's up, Nate and the Choppers? The Choppers and Nate. What? You went to the concert? What? Was it nice? I would have enjoyed going to see that. That would have been fun for me. I would have enjoyed that. I know it was super fun. Oh, man. Brandy writes, I took my 6-year-olds. It was dope. Really? Okay, good. Good. Bunky writes, the same ones locking us up are the ones putting the guns on the streets. Akeem writes, you mean the Lil Baby Super Spreader concert, Nate? Yeah, that one. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Happy birthday to Miles. Jenny writes, happy birthday to Miles. Charles writes, Lil Baby's got bars. I like Lil Baby. And there was a time in which I didn't know all the babies. So many babies. The Baby, Lil Baby, Baby from the Block. You know, all the babies out there. But now I know who is who, and I got a better understanding. But I like him. He got a couple. He got a song with Yo Gotti I like. He got a couple songs. He got a song with Joyner Lucas, who I really like right now. I love to see Joyner Lucas. He got a couple dope songs. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Nate? Good morning, bro.
What's up? Good morning.
Nothing much, man. Hey, I appreciate the shout out for my little man.
Oh, for sure.
Can't even call him medium anymore. He's tall, tall chopper now. But yeah, he turned 15 today, so I appreciate that. I thought I'd give him a shout out. Hey, I agree with you about Stephen A. Smith, and I've thought this for a long time, Nate. And I pay attention to other media sources, and one of them, which, you know, they're kind of like the Fox News of sports websites, but outh. And Bobby Barack, he's like a media guy, and he wrote a story about the ratings being down for First Take, and how people really aren't into First Take without Stephen A. having that yin to his yang, and they kind of mentioned how, just like you said, how him and Michael Irvin are pretty much the same guy. Mm-hmm. They really are. And I tell you what, and I remember we talked about this at the time, Nate, I didn't necessarily like the way Stephen A. Smith came after Max after he left the program.
Yeah.
And you talked about the interview on, what is it, Hot 95 or 96, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that was very professional, in my opinion, for him to go out there on Max like that. Hey, I thought they had a better relationship than that. I didn't know up until the last couple of months before Max decided to leave, or they decided to relieve him of his duties. But I thought Stephen A. came about it the wrong way, saying all that. You know, we know you're the boss. We know you're the highest paid guy on ESPN. But, you never hear other heads of shows or producers come out the way Stephen A. came out against what I thought was his partner. Put it this way, he didn't say that when Skip left to go to Fox.
Well, I think Skip left because Skip wanted to be the man, and they was giving him the bag over at FS1, so that's why he left.
Right.
I think, if I remember correctly.
That is true. And I actually like Shannon Sharp. What do you like about Shannon Sharp?
I like Shannon Sharp when he doesn't do a skip, all this. You are a Hall of Famer. Act like it. Analyze. You know what I'm saying? Skip. What do that shit burns me up. What the hell am I watching the Django? Don't do all that. Just keep it. I thought when he first got there, that first season, that first year, Shannon Sharp was A1 because he kept the emotions in check and he just gave his analysis. And I think that's what people who tune into those shows, they want to hear intelligent analysis and dialogue. Oh, this Skip. Well, Skip, now, come on, man. What the hell? You was Butler or something? I just don't like all that.
You don't like?
I don't like.
So you don't like Club? You don't like Club Shay Shay?
I love Club Shay Shay, but that's his own thing.
You know what?
I love Club Shay Shay.
I like that he tries to cut off Skip's hate for LeBron James. That's what I like most about him.
I like that.
I say this every,
when he's not doing the Butler routine, man. I like it.
Yeah, Steven Jackson said it. It was apropos when he's like, I don't understand the criticism with LeBron. He said the guy came from adverse circumstances, never got in lick of trouble, brought his boys up, from the dirt. He's like, now they're millionaires. They're at the top of their game. I mean, Clutch Sports is like the biggest sports agency, in sports, and they're only expanding because A, they got LeBron's name, but B, they're very good at what they do, and they're able to get that bag for their clients. Sans Rajon Rondo, but it was what's his name, Ben Stroller, but that was a fail on his part.
He fumbled
decided
the bag.
not to take a contract.
Somebody offer you $85 million, you take it. You don't try to piddle around for another 15. You take it and run.
And quite honestly, he's no Rajon Rondo when it comes to the playoffs. He just disappeared. He was good during the regular season, but he didn't have any playoff P&M. Put it that way. But
Schroeder has game. He's built. He's got. These basketball players have freakish builds, man. Big arms, bigger than they should be. Legs bigger. His head game ain't there. I wish that Rondo had his youth with Rondo's mentality and know-how. He'd be unstoppable.
Plus Schroeder got that whack-ass Kwame blonde patch in his hair. Where that shit come from? I mean,
that's big in Germany, man. Stuff, in Deutschland.
Yeah, man,
big in Deutschland.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm staying out of Deutschland. I'm keeping Mesa. We don't do no. I mean, really, Kwame haven't made an album. Hell, last time Kwame did anything, they were probably still selling albums and CDs or mixtapes. I mean, so that kind of got on my nerves, but that's me being petty. But yeah, man, like I said, I just really wanted to call in and agree with you on Stephen A. I thought he messed up, and like I said, the way he went about it, man, it wasn't very professional in my opinion. And Max is gone, man. You don't need to tell everybody that you got all the power. We know what's up, but
right.
And then another thing that gets me about Stephen A, man, it's always, how black folks internalize the most negative things and accept it as our own. He tends to do shit like that, Nate, and that drives me crazy. Mm-hmm. All black folks do this. No, we don't all do this. No, we don't all do that. It's the whole, black folks take the same, drink the same, and act the same. And no, that's not true. And he tends, and then, what was it, a couple of years ago, he was talking that Republican stuff too. So I'm never going to forget that. He had this little Bill Cosby moment where he wanted to come out and, and blast the community. Mm-hmm. And then, years later, we get a Donald Trump and he don't say jack about it. But, he was all too comfortable going to the, the little conservative conventions and sitting up there on stage and talking about how black people need to divvy up their vote, which there was some truth to it. But in the reality, the other side isn't showing that they want our vote. Matter of fact, they try to suppress our vote. So I've always had that in the background. Like I told you, Nate, I grew up a big MJ fan, but the older I got, man, the more I realized MJ didn't stand up for a damn thing. And then, he even lied when he talked about Republicans buy shoes. I told you this before. If there was ever a time for a brother to get away with the hell with, certain groups of people in this country, it was when he had a chance to support Harvey Gantt against Jesse Helms. And if you can't come out against Jesse Helms, who can you come out against? I mean, I'm not worried about the Jesse Helms portion of America buying Jordan brand sneakers. I think you can take that small L and you would still be the billionaire that you are today. But he punked out, and that was some hoe type stuff, mate. And I'll never forgive him for it. And that's another reason, again, why I appreciate LeBron James. I appreciate LeBron for just as much as he does off of the court to what he does on the court.
Yeah, well,
and that's the difference between
right now the big debate about LeBron is you've got an NBA player named Enes Kanter saying that LeBron James should be speaking to the black community more about getting vaccinated. And, you know,
and that's bullshit. Enes Kanter, well, you know, they always had a little something going against each other. He's from Turkey. I know exactly what you're talking about. But again, these are the things. Why aren't anybody asking Tom Brady to speak directly to the white community? He's a white people's superstar, isn't he, Nate? He's a white people's athletic, you know, Rocky Marciano. That's they won. You know, but why isn't Tom Brady wore a MAGA hat, last year? He's friends with Trump. Why isn't Tom Brady pushing the vaccine, you know, for, working class MAGA types and those with drippish tendencies? You feel me? But they want to put this on LeBron. Where's, I don't know, they didn't say that about Pat Mahomes? They didn't say that. What about Aaron Rodgers? You know, I don't know who's the give me the PGA Tour, I don't know, who is Keegan Bradley or, you just name them. You know Bryson DeChambeau, you know, somebody. But again, that, you know, they want to put that on LeBron. LeBron just said he got vaccinated. He said it's a decision that you make on your own as a family decision. I agree with that. But he need to put extra pressure on the black people. How about Tom Brady putting extra pressure on white people? There's more white people that's unvaccinated in this country than there are black people. That's like that fool down in Texas, the attorney general, who tried to blame the COVID infection rate on black people. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that
black
nonsense.
People not getting. Yeah. And then, of course, the statistics come out and show that, you know, there are like 3 times as many white people in Texas that aren't vaccinated as black and brown people. So, you know, Nate, I got 7 minutes, man. I'm about to clock in. Let me get my computer all set up. But like I said, man, thanks for the shout out from my son, Miles. Happy birthday to him. He went to school. You know, he's on a bit of a punishment. So his birthday presents will wait until Christmas. But that's the way I do. I'm a caring black dad. But I hold him responsible and accountable. And he knows I love him to death. So that's not the problem. But he's going to have to take that L. And I say it all the time. He's going to have to take this L and just go with it. And so, like I said, man, I appreciate it. And petty peace. I'm out.
Take it easy. That's Glenn. I appreciate it. What the hell did Miles do till Christmas? That's a whole two months. That's the end of December. Damn. I ain't want to ask. But back to what we were saying about Stephen A. Smith, he did an interview with Hot 97 with Ebro and the Morning Crew. And I agree with you. When I watched the interview, I was thinking, why are you doing this, Steve? This is not going to serve you. He went on there and they asked him, and I know he was in sometimes keeping it real. There's a place for keeping it real and there's a place for keeping it close. And I didn't like the move because Max was looked upon as he was a part of that morning show family, right? He was a part of it. And there were times when I thought the show would slow down a little bit, but that was his style. Sometimes you need the show to slow down a little bit. Stephen A. on Hot 97, like, yeah, well, the rumors are true. I'm the reason why he ain't on there. I got rid of him, and I'll tell you why, right? People don't understand. It's hard to do a show. It takes a lot of work. What's that got to do with anything? That's what he said. You know, I was of a mind that the show needed some new energy. And I told the bosses this, and yo, check it. I told Max this, right? You're changing the way people look at you. You're changing the way people perceive you. People are going to perceive you differently now. Oh, you the man. You're not just one of the stars. You the man down here. People are going to look at you differently, Steve. Oh, you getting rid of the white dude, huh? Because you want to. Because you want to bring in Michael Irvin. People are going to perceive that differently. I totally understand from a program standpoint, if I can get it out. I ain't perfect. Fuck it. Right? I totally understand. You should always be looking at what you're doing and tinkering and figuring out how you can do things better and things like that. But there's some things you got to tread very lightly on when you make that decision, because you never know how you don't know what the audience, you don't know why the audience is there. People were tuned into First Take because they wanted to hear what Max and Steve had to say. That's what they wanted to hear. And you can tell the energy's all different now. You know, people are kowtowing to him and playing to him. It is what it is, but I never would have recommended that he did a Hot 97 interview. I would have told him, no, you don't have to respond to anything. Let people think what they're going to think. and you open your mouth and tell people like, yeah, I'm the man. He gone because I said so. And we'll, you know, it is what it is. Okay, that's a lot of pressure on you now, Steve. See, that's the other thing. When you make certain moves, you put pressure on yourself. There's a difference between doing what you regularly do with no pressure and then doing what you regularly do and you got all the pressure on you. And right now, you can watch that show. Steve got all the pressure on him because the boss is looking at him like, this is what you wanted. See, that's different. You've changed it now. It ain't the same. ESPN bosses look at him like, this is what you said you wanted. You told us for 3 years it was going to work. You wanted Michael Irvin. We gave you everything you wanted. Now go do it. That's a different kind of pressure right there. That's a whole new level of pressure when you the man, this is what you wanted. You got what you wanted. That's different. That is step up time now. Expectations are differently. And people perform differently. They look at things differently. And if you watch that show, you're smart enough, you've been watching for years, you can see it. You can see it. So we'll see. It's segment by segment. You can see Stephen A. like, is this working? This shit ain't working. Why'd I choose Michael Irvin? Oh, dear Lord. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Nathan. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Hello, fam. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. As far as Stephen A. Smith goes, I don't know, man. I love Stephen A. Smith. As somebody with a media background, I love him. First of all, he's the best ever at what he does. He's totally usurped Howard Cosell. You know, Howard Cosell is pretty much the guy who made ESPN necessary. You know, what he was, the commentary he was doing on ABC. ABC owns ESPN, you know, that type of thing. And I think in 2021, whatever it is, I'll stand this last ever. You have to respect the jokes. A cantankerous, obnoxious black man. Not a little bit, but a complete sesquipedalian, you know, on TV talking greasy. And he's become the face of a national network, probably the 4th biggest network in the country. You got to respect that. But then again, he set himself up by pushing out Max. He set himself up to fail. He always had a white buffer. No matter where he was at, Fox, ESPN, he always had a white buffer with him. And getting rid of his white buffer showed that he thought that he was like just ready to be totally accepted. And it's like, nah, Steve, not quite yet. You know, there's still that white segment that calls you Screaming A. Smith. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of his own foolish move, but I guess, you know, much like athletes, you're giving him $10 million a year, he's feeling himself. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, maybe he'll go off and start his own thing afterward, you know, who knows? But I don't have a problem with what he did. You know, Denzel Washington don't do movies with Will Smith or vice versa. I'm a star. I don't need a co-star like that.
Why haven't they
nobody
done a movie
with
together?
a name?
You're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, alpha males, beta males don't like being in the room with other alphas. That type of thing, you know. And as far as Max Kellerman, I respect his story because dude came up off public access TV.
True.
Him and his brother was doing a boxing show on public access. And, you know, I mean, New York City Jewish cat, you know, so he's, you know, they got a lot of access to him. They found out about him, auditioned him, and that's how he came up. So I respect that grind. It's just a shame that, you know, but at the same time, they were the same guy, an urban New York City person. There was no need to have both of them. I thought Stephen A. was at his best when he had Will Cain with him, the right-wing conservative guy who went to Fox and got his own show. Non-sports, he got a political show on Fox.
Yeah. That was
you
a good
what I'm
era.
Saying?
That was a good era.
That was a great era, you know, because you could see what was going to happen. Will Cain came along right as Trump became president, and that, you know, that far right wing kind of started taking off and, you know, dominating conversations. But yeah, Stephen A. Smith, I think little black boys should look up to him. You know, if you're a little black boy going into the media, you need to look up to Stephen A. Smith.
On some levels, yeah.
Yeah, you respect it. He deserves our respect. Shannon Sharp, Yeah, he's total clown. Total clown. You were right. He was doing analysis, and then this kind of woke stuff took off. So he started going there, and then he started, you're exactly right. The skill. My grandmama said if a bullfrog is croaking loud, you need to run the hell on somewhere. That kind of stuff. It's like, dude,
Right.
that's corny now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's clear with Stephen. And one more thing about Stephen A. Smith, it's clear with him that he doesn't know football or baseball. He gets basic perfunctory takes, but somehow he's managed to turn that to being the face of the network that started with a guy who was famous for doing nicknames. Chris Berman, Nathan Poison Ivy with 23 points.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
He do stuff like that. Stephen A. Smith is the face of that now. I think we need to look at him in a different lens and realize he's a historical broadcaster and he deserves our respect. But yesterday you was talking about Lizzo toward the end.
Yeah.
After I had called, like, I don't care that she looked up the history of twerking.
Yeah.
You
Props
still
to
don't
Lizzo.
need to do that at a Lakers game with, wearing whatever you had that had your cheek showing.
Yeah, she had a thong on. She had some Prince
Yeah,
pants
like,
on.
you don't need to be doing that in front of children. It's like, it's still an inappropriate, thing to do on a public display like that.
All she was showing was
If
cheek.
that's all you want to be.
She
I'm
didn't show
sorry?
no crack. She just showed cheek.
It don't matter. I mean, if that's all you want to be known for is the big
fame,
bird that twerks.
Fame, it matters. When
Yeah.
you're talking about asses, cheek versus crack is a big difference. Don't act like it's not.
Well, she's got a flat ass.
Just saying, she showed some
You know
cheek
what
at
I'm
the Laker
saying?
game. I saw her, no big deal.
Well, whatever she did, it was inappropriate to do on national TV at the Laker game. It was
Live a
inappropriate.
little, man.
I don't care.
Live a little. Damn.
I am living a little. I go against you every day because you be feeding black people nonsense.
What?
And I've had my fill of it.
Oh, please stop it.
So I'm living a little, B. All right? Now, that's all I got, because I don't want to argue with you today. I'm feeling real good.
All right.
I woke up. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I feel great. I got big things popping, small shit stopping. And
I love it.
But yeah, that's all I got, B. It's been real. I had fun. I just felt that necessary to say that about Stephen A. Smith. Like, we need to really, really examine the lens we're looking at him through. This is a black sports broadcaster who is, if you think about it, like I said, has totally taken over Howard Cosell's spot as the best ever.
Yeah,
And Skip is number 2. He knows the trolling of LeBron James is magnificent because he's relentless with it. You know how LeBron does those chase down blocks from behind? He calls them, LeBron came out with one of those vicious from behind attacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's brilliant what he does. And you can't get mad at it because at the end of the day, it's entertainment. And he's very entertaining with his trolling of LeBron and his incessant love of Tom Brady. Even Stephen A. Smith, very entertaining with not knowing football. Kind of like you, how we can tell that you don't like football. Stephen A. Smith don't know football. You can tell if you pay attention to what he says, but he's entertaining with it and hiding. But so that's all I got, man. It's been real.
That's all
I
I
had
need.
fun.
So did I.
We'll talk again someday soon. I might bless you.
Ooh, you sound like you were hurt or something. Eee. What the hell? That's it's supposed to be a howl, man. Did you twist your ankle or something, bro? My work is just getting started. It's just getting started. Felix and Oscar. Thank you, Maurice. Felix and Oscar, man, the odd couple, that kind of thing, pairing together like oil and water mixtures for entertainment purposes on TV shows and stuff, that always works. If it's the right mixture, it works because people, they get both sides of it. Let me take a quick pause, family. I ain't going nowhere. The conversation is still going on. Hold on. Before we take a break, we got another call coming in. Let's take the call. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good. I wanted to catch you before the break.
Okay.
Or were you getting ready to go to break?
I was about to go to break, but I'm Gucci. I'm good now. We can keep the conversation going.
Okay, I just want to give a shout out to Fane Rothstein, betting public sports show host, and all of the alt middle and their affiliates.
All that riding you doing? Sorry, I didn't mean to talk underneath you, brother. Go right ahead.
See, is this how we gonna do it now, Mr. Ivy?
Pretty much.
You did it like that on my last call.
Yeah, I'm doing like that every time.
Am I becoming too big of a caller for your show?
I just like you.
Okay. Are you gonna get rid of me like Stephen A. Smith got rid of Max Kellerman?
Never. I'm never gonna make that mistake. Never. Never.
But Mr. Ivy, since we're talking about black media moguls like Stephen A. and Fane Rothstein hit it right on the head. I love that brother's analysis. I'm looking forward to our next episode together on the Black Not Democrat podcast.
Yeah, when he's on point, he's on
point. Yes, sir, he is. And I'm looking forward to his documentary. But Mr. Ivy, have you heard, well, I know you have, because you are a powerful, influential member of black media. And I didn't hear your show yesterday, and I just tuned in about a half hour ago. And I'm wondering if you have, or do you plan on talking about Carlos Watson and the problem that he's having with his Ozy Media company?
Yeah, I've been talking about this morning. Came up yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been talking about this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your thoughts about it?
Well, Mr. Ivy, again, we see the moves that Roland Martin is making. We see the moves Carlos Watson attempted to make, and we don't know how legitimate it is, but apparently he got exposed for not being 100% honest and transparent with his investors, with his board members, and as well as his listeners and followers. And I'm just wondering, Mr. Ivy, is this another way to kind of calm down the explosion that's happening right now in black media? Because everybody has a podcast now, Mr. Ivy. Everybody has a streaming service. I mean, we saw what happened with Facebook yesterday. And if you don't think it has anything to do with the whistleblower who was on 60 Minutes on Sunday and will be appearing before Congress, I think today.
Yeah, today.
Yeah. So all these people, like you always used to tell me when I used to get suspended and blocked and kicked off of Twitter and YouTube, you used to always tell me, the people do not own these platforms. The platforms belong to Zuckerberg and the other, I can't think of the Facebook guy or the Google guy, but you know, the big three. So everybody who think they doing something with their little podcast, with their little YouTube channel, all that shit could be shut down in a minute. In a minute. And then where will we be? We're going to be right back where we were, relying on the mainstream media and the lying-ass politicians who are their willing accomplices. So I hope the whole Carlos Watson thing gets straightened out because, again, Mr. Ivy, social media can be manipulated. It can be controlled, and it's just not real. We just do not know because we are just the users. It's like the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. Okay? Today, it's not a curtain. It's plexiglass. You could see through it. You could see who's on the other side doing what they do, but you can't stop them. You can't get to them. They're untouchable. And we're going to see what happens, Mr. Ivy, because all these black voices, alternative to the system, to the democratic system that they always talk about, that somebody who has an opinion is destroying our democracy. No. Politicians do not control democracy, Mr. Ivy. The people do. And when the people speak up and rise up, and what they're saying is not in line, the go along to get along, things start to happen. So we're going to see what happens in this new age of technology and communicating, and how people, just the average guy, like me, a retired black postal worker who started his own podcast. Yeah, it's only season 1. Yeah, I got like 75 episodes, but almost 1,000 people or 1,000 times my voice has been played. So 1,000 may not sound like a lot, but 1 million followers for one influencer, that may be just a little bit unbelievable, because the average person on YouTube, Twitter, they don't have that millions of followers, because I guess you can go buy them. So that's all I got, Mr. Ivy. And I'm not going to talk about the disgusting, disgraceful Congress that happens to be in session right now and holding up that 1.9 bipartisan bill that a lot of people going to need. They're playing with our money, Mr. Ivy. They're playing with our lives. And the Democrats ain't no different than the Republicans. Everybody should tear up their registration card if you're a Democrat or Republican and register as an independent and show them the power of the people.
Did I just hear you say?
You heard it.
What?
You heard it.
Wow.
Yes.
It's the first time you finally said it. Finally. Now you making some sense. Okay, now I can get with this. Look at you. Gold star for drop. Gold star for drop. Look at you out here, man. Look at you.
Okay, now
look at you.
Now you acting ridiculous. Now you acting like Shannon Sharp.
No, nothing like that, man. I'm just proud of my brother, man. Look at you, growth.
Bro, come on,
man. It, man.
It's just one call.
Did you plan on saying that, or you got caught up in the flows? Be honest.
Mr. Ivy,
be honest.
You know how I roll, sir.
I do know how you roll. That's why I'm asking you.
If I read something, I'm going to tell you I'm reading. I've been mistaken many times. Shout out to Kev on the cell. My flows were so smooth, he thought I was reading, Mr. Ivy. No, this comes off the top of my dome.
Oh, okay.
Because guess what, Mr. Ivy? Longevity has its benefits. And like the famous Indiana coach Bobby Knight said, I've forgotten more about basketball than you'll ever know. So again, Mr. Ivy, it's just one man's opinion. And that's all I got, sir. And before I go, I got one thing to say.
What's that, brother?
What kind of colored man are you?
Is that rhetorical, or am I supposed to answer that shit? Oh my God. We are living in remarkable times, because Drop just said Democrat or Republican. He finally listened. Oh, I knew I would live long enough. This is why God saved me from my heart attack. Thank you. Thank you, God. I'm glad we didn't go to break. Wow. God is good. God is good. What in the hell? Don't forget, family, early voting opens today. We got a couple of words from folks that want your vote. I'll play a little bit of music. I'll put some hopefully motivational and inspirational images up, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scotty Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scotty Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scotty Johnson.
I'm former Mayor Dwight Tillery asking you to vote for my friend, Michelle Dillingham, who is a Democrat running for Cincinnati City Council. The black population in our city has declined, pushing black homeowners out, while speculators purchase their houses for pennies on the dollar. Black people are being foreclosed on because of rigged housing and economic systems.
Michelle Dillingham will fight for you. This is Victoria Strawn. You know me, Sister V. City Council prefers investing in a soccer stadium and gentrifying our historic neighborhoods. Malcolm X said that if you don't own land, you're nothing but a squatter.
Come on, Michelle, talk to the people.
City Council is being sued for discriminatory tax abatement programs that unfairly enrich wealthy white neighborhoods. I know because I've been fighting for reform for years. Isn't it time to elect a candidate who will stand up for the people over special interests? Vote for me, Michelle Dillingham, Democrat for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by Dillingham for Council Committee.
All right, just a quick break, everybody. Welcome back. I'll say it again. The same boiling water that softens the potato hardens the egg. It's what you're made of, not the circumstances. It's not the circumstances. What you do with what life throws at you that will determine what kind of life you have. And if people are doubting you, if they're doubting how far you can go, then use that as motivation. Go so far that you can't hear them anymore. All right? You got strength and power in you. You have greatness inside of you. But you got to take the first steps. Good morning to you. Welcome back. 513-873-7134 is my number. You got me for, shit, we might go to 10 this morning. I don't know. Talking about media moves. I've been talking about Facebook was out yesterday. Were you anxious? Did you find yourself like, damn, I spent a lot of time on Facebook? Be honest with me. Did you realize yesterday when Facebook was down and also Instagram was down for 6 hours, that you spent a whole lot of time on these social media platforms? Did you feel a little anxious, like you were disconnected? I'd like to know. And the problem with Facebook is that Facebook needs to be regulated. It's going to be a big meeting today. Big congressional hearings. You got a whistleblower who's come forward. She says that Facebook, her name is Frances Haugen, 60 Minutes still making news out here. Just think about this. 60 Minutes been around since I was a kid. They still making news with their own special brand of investigative journalism. Still making news. There's a lesson in that. And I watched, I think I watched all of it yesterday. Watched it, some parts of it several times. And when she talked about how Facebook basically has all these community standards that they don't even adhere to. That Facebook knows that their algorithm promotes and rewards divisive content. Facebook also knows that Instagram promotes the bad self-body image in young girls. Young girls, some of them are more likely to have suicidal thoughts after getting on IG. And it makes sense. I mean, I was on IG. Everybody's perfect. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody can dance. Everybody's got a beautiful car, a beautiful life. Everybody's a perfect entrepreneur. Everybody's perfect on IG. Everybody's perfect. Everybody's posting these before and afters. They did these amazing transformations that seem so damn impossible. Everybody's perfect. I can see how if you're young and impressionable, how it could make you feel bad getting on there. What are you supposed to do about that? I don't know. Stay off of it, I guess. I don't know. You tell me. I talked about Ozy Media or Ozy Media. I keep saying Ozy like Ozy Davis. It's Ozy Media. And Carlos Watson is the Black CEO and co-founder. He was in the hot seat yesterday. He says, he pledges they're going to bring it back. We shall see. I was hip to Ozy Media because I'm hip to these kind of things. That's not black media though. I don't think you should describe them as black media. I think their audience was white women, white educated women who wanted to stay They wanted to stay connected with the woke culture and youth culture. I think that's who their demographic was. But it wasn't black folks. But I like what they was doing. There's some things I really liked about what they was doing. And he's getting caught up in what appears to be a lot of lies and shit. I never lie to people about the reach of my show or any of the shows. I tell them straight dope. I've just figured out other ways to approach that. So when people come toward me or I approach people, I have developed over the years my own approach. That does include numbers, of course. But I recommend you always keep it 100. Never lie. I'm not a lying kind of person though. Because I don't know, man. It's just something. I mean, everybody's told lies. I've told lies before. I ain't gonna tell you no lies like that now. Ain't nobody perfect out here. But generally speaking, as a man, I don't know. I just feel less of myself if I got a lie to somebody, no matter who it is about anything. I did what I did. I said what I said. It is what it is. Anything less than that is just, I don't know. To me, it just seems, to me personally, unmanly. I just don't go that route. If I do something, I did it. If I said something, I said it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I never even thought about telling any lies to potential sponsors or anything like that. It's unnecessary. It just causes more problems than what's necessary. I say keep it 100 and your life is a lot easier. That's what I think. Don't forget tonight, NAACP Virtual Townhall Forum at 6 p.m. I will be your moderator. CDM will be powering the stream. Should be really interesting. I don't know if this is the last one or the second to last one. I can't remember. I do know that it's back to back. So you got tonight and then tomorrow, the mayoral candidates. Should be very, very interesting. So tap in tonight at 6 p.m. and learn more about the candidates. Should be interesting. If you got questions, it's never too late. It's not too late. It's not too late. Talked a little bit about Stephen A. Smith. I set the table there. I thought bad deal. You know, getting rid of Max Kellerman for who they replaced him with. I could see if there was better replacements, but no, not them. And then going on Hot 97 and yeah, I did it. Yeah, I'm the reason why he's not on the show anymore because I made a choice about programming. Bad deal. I didn't like it. And Roland Martin has a brand new streaming service that he is going to debut next year. And I think favorably of it. I mean, I don't really have a lot of information, but the question is on the table, can a Black-centric streaming service work? And until I would say yes, 100%. And if anybody can pull something like that off, who's got the gravitas, the stones, quite frankly, the talent and the connections, it would be Roland Martin. It'll be very interesting to see his lineup because you've seen a lot of this. You got the Black Effect with Charlemagne the God, which is a podcast in which they have a lot of Black podcasters, primarily all Black podcasters. You got some big names on there too. He's got some of the biggest hip hop podcasts, so I can't see how it would lose. You know, the Breakfast Club audio is on there, Drink Champs, Horrible Decisions, like you just name it. Jess Hilarious, she's got a podcast on there. So you got a lot of big names on there. You know what I'm saying? That can go a long, long way. That can go a long, long way. There's some other streaming services that are owned by Black people and that have been started. You got the Zeus Network. You got a young brother, Plummer is his last name. He started that. And I like what he's doing. That's a subscription-based service. He do a lot of reality television shit on there. Jocelyn Hernandez used to be on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. She's got a show on there and some other shows. They deal with the ratchetness, if you want to call it that. I call it drama. There's a few others off the top of the dome that probably people are not really focused on that are either doing podcasting or they're doing streaming services. So there's a bunch of stuff, folks out there that are doing that kind of stuff. You got Black News Channel. So, I mean, I just feel like if you're doing something that people like or they can get something out of, yeah, you can do it. So I'm really interested in seeing what Roland's going to do and who's on his lineup and, you know, what kind of shows they're going to be doing. I think that could work. I mean, I have to wait and see. That's it. All right, back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
What's up, Black Russia? What up?
I'm chilling. What's up? I'm chilling. What's happening?
Can't complain, man.
Hey, I got a couple things.
Sure.
Hey, you were talking about Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
I didn't see it live, but just based upon if he said what you said, it definitely wasn't cool. Like, he straight dissed Max Kellerman. I don't think he brought nothing to the show. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this: I like Michael Irvin a hell of a lot better than Max Kellerman, though. Like, he should be permanent.
Really?
I think Michael Irvin should be permanent because he got that football perspective. Like, you can't pay for that. Like, Stephen A. Smith ain't playing no ball. You know what I'm saying? And it's a copycat type of, television industry. So, like, he see Skip, his former boss, getting all this hype from Shannon. I mean, they're money. So he's copying basically what Undisputed is doing now. He's gonna bring in Jeff Saturday and Michael Irvin, and I think Michael Irvin should be permanent. I love his bro. He got that wide receiver swag. He gets his suits be cold. Yeah, I'm a Michael Irvin fan.
I'm not saying, listen, let me make sure you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I dislike Michael Irvin as a media personality, but just because you're good at one thing doesn't mean you're good at everything. If they were going to bring Michael Irvin in, I would have kept Max and just brought in Michael and just bring him in. That's what they should have done. And you keep that odd couple nucleus and you just bring in new elements. But to remove Max and replace him with Michael Irvin cannot do what Max Kellerman did. And Max Kellerman cannot do what Michael did. And I think when you're creating a duo off of Stephen A. Smith, what Max brought to the table was far more valuable all the way around as a duo than Michael Irvin. That's just my humble opinion.
I accept that. I mean, I don't think that Kellerman was bad either. I thought he was cool. But if you line up Undisputed with First Take with Max Kellerman and the elements they had beforehand, I mean, Undisputed was undisputed. I mean, I'll take that show 10 times out of 10. It's twice on Sunday. Before I watched First Take, I just started watching First Take again for like the first time in the last couple of weeks because of Michael Irvin. I just think he got that football perspective. But I hear what you're saying, though. I mean, I don't think Max Kellerman was bad. I don't think Michael Irvin was bad. So I get what you're saying, but I just a Michael Irvin guy.
No, you're right about that because people tune, and that's what makes former athletes who are articulate and can do the media thing so good because they got that experience. And that's what football fans and sports fans want out of those shows. They want insight and analysis. That's what they get. That's what they want. And that's what you got. That's what you get with Michael Irvin. But what were they going to do with Michael Irvin doing boxing? What are they going to do with Michael Irvin doing MMA? What are they going to do with Michael Irvin doing the NBA season?
He's definitely limited. I agree with you on that. You got a good point. He's limited to football. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to other things, well, that's when you bring other folks in too. Like you ain't got to necessarily bring in Jeff Saturday every day, but you can bring in what's my guy's name? The trainer. They got the score on his face. The white guy. I forget his name.
You got the what on his face?
He got a score on his face. It's an older white guy. He's a trainer. I forget his name right now.
I don't know.
Man, well, when they used to have Friday night fights, he'll call some of that. I'm gonna think of his name. But I mean, I'm saying if you got specialized programming, you can bring in specialized people. I think Michael Irvin's good, football wise, but I think his excitement matches Stephen A's energy too. So I mean, that's my humble opinion on that one. But I wanted to ask you something. I recall you having some students on from Walnut Hills that were talking about trying to get the police officers out of the schools. Yeah. Did you have some kids on there like that?
Yeah, had them on a couple times. The Young Activist Coalition, YAC.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Yeah, okay. Well, you hear about what happened to Wilbur yesterday? Cross Street from Wilbur?
I did hear about it, but what am I missing?
I think you're missing, well, not necessarily you, but maybe the Young Activist Coalition is missing. That probably the first person to respond to the scene was probably an SRO to help that young man. Because they stay in the school, and so the response time was probably quicker than it would have been if you didn't have an SRO in the school. Now I understand that stuff happens allegedly across the street, but supposedly the young man that got shot came back to Woodward, walked to the office for help. And thank goodness there was, an SRO in the building to respond to that. So I'm just saying there's a reason why SRO should be there.
Okay, I'm trying to analyze what you just said here. So as I understand it, the student was shot at the Walgreens, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, right.
And then after he was injured, he walked to the school. And you're saying that's an example as to why we need SROs in the schools? That's not computing for me, brother. Make that
Why
make
not?
sense to me.
Well, the SRO being in the building when the young man came back to the school allowed the officer to get instant information. I think they got like 4 people in custody, and they were able to respond to help that young man. It makes sense because what if there was an officer there on the scene? We're talking about a response time that's lagging at that point in time. I'm talking about response times when we have emergency. That's important.
Yeah, that's a very small nail to hang that argument on to me. If there was no SRO there, they would have called EMS, the fire, ambulance, and the police would have responded within minutes. Having an SRO in the school didn't prevent a damn thing.
It's not about prevention. It's about response time. You missed what I said originally.
Yeah, I know you said that. I know you said that, but I hear what you're saying. I mean, that's your argument. To me, that's not enough of a case as to why we should have SROs in the school. Because somebody got shot off campus and then walked to the school and an SRO was there. I don't see that makes the great point as to why we need SROs in schools. But
I'm not saying I'm hanging the whole thing on it. I'm just saying that's one aspect to it. Response times are important.
So
one somebody gets shot in the arm. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, people getting shot in the arm, they can still bleed out and die. I mean, we could look at that as a minor, injury, but in essence, it's a gunshot wound, bro. I mean, people bleed. Now, the officer is allowed to give, some level of emergency service to the young man, tourniquet, whatever he may have needed. I'm just saying the response times are important when you have incidents like that. I remember a few years ago, there was somebody got shot, might pull out a gun at Tab. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying Walnut Hills is a different environment. You don't have some of these stuff going on in Walnut Hills. You have maybe a Taft or a Woodward or a Hughes or something like that.
Yes, you do.
So I can see, I see those young people being naive to just in their bubble, okay, as it relates to police.
There was just
that's me.
Nah, that's not true, man. Just 2 weeks ago, I got a message that Walnut Hills was locked down because there was a shooting in the neighborhood. So shootings can happen
in the neighborhood. In the neighborhood, bro.
In the neighborhood of Walnut Hills. Well, this shooting you're talking about happened in the neighborhood. It didn't happen at the school. It happened to Walgreens on Seymour Avenue.
Right, but he came back to the school, though, because he was a student there. He came back to the school.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking about Walnut Hills and things happening near Walnut Hills as well. I mean, Walnut Hills right next to Evanston. So it's, shootings can happen anywhere.
Of course they can. But when we have situations like that with students getting shot, going back to the school, SROs there to respond instantly. A lot of shit don't happen underneath the dome, bro. I know. A lot of shit don't happen. You don't be having kids throwing out guns under the dome. It just don't happen. Okay?
SRO, student nurse.
They live in a different bubble.
I don't think it really makes a difference. SRO, student nurse. I mean, I don't think, again, I'm not trying to underplay the value of having an SRO in this scenario. I just don't think that's a good enough of an argument as to why we need to have police officers in our schools. That's just me.
I hear you. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not necessarily putting this in your lap. I'm talking about those young students. You know what I'm saying? They just don't understand the nature of what's going on in some of these schools in Cincinnati Public because they're in a bubble.
Yes,
they don't.
Yes,
they don't.
They know way better than you do. You know why?
Why is that?
Because they're in school right now. So how you gonna tell them?
They're at Walnut Hills High School.
They're in school right now. How you gonna tell these young people that's in school right now that you know better than you know more about what's going on in high school, and your ass ain't been in high school in 20 years?
I know what's not going on in Walnut Hills.
You don't know anything. We already had this conversation. You don't know a damn thing that's happening in high schools unless you're there, or unless you got kids there.
News articles. I'm just reading the news articles. Okay,
yeah, you read news articles.
I'm reading the news articles. And I'm seeing kids getting shot across the street from the school, then going back to the school.
I'm just telling
saying,
you that
those young folks at Walnut Hills,
the experience of these young folks, they're there. We can't devalue what they see every day. They go to high school every day.
They go to Walnut Hills High School. They don't go to Woodward, bro. So they don't know what's going on in Woodward.
But they're not acting like they when Yak came on, they weren't acting like they went to Woodward. They said, we go to Walnut Hills. They was representing for what they knew. They weren't acting like they know what's going on at every school. They
said they wanted SROs out of all the schools, bro. It wasn't just Walnut Hills that they were saying. I'm focusing on what they're saying.
They was
we're talking about. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify. I had the same conversation with Danita. They were reaching out to people and students in all these schools to try to get people to either share their information or be a part of what they was trying to build. They were never trying to represent like they knew what was best for everybody. I never got that feeling.
Well, the impression I got was that they said they don't need SROs in the school. Maybe at Walnut Hills.
Yeah.
Maybe where they're at. They can speak to that.
Mike
But when I'm
Morosky
reading
said
the
the same
news,
thing. He's a school board member. When I asked them during the latest forum, I asked them to raise their hand and tell me if they think that having police officers in our schools is inherently a problem. He was the only one that raised his hand. And he's a school board member. So it ain't just the kids. There's a lot of people that's looking at it from a different lens. And they're like, they're wondering if there's a better way to do it.
Okay, you can wonder about a better way to do it. People can have a conversation. In terms of Mike Morosky, I'm not voting for that idiot. He is the most clueless school board member we've had in the last 20 years. Period. What? Point blank.
What?
The most clueless. The most hard left, liberalized, atheistized school board member we've ever had in 20 years. I am not voting for him. I am telling everybody, do not vote for Mike Morosky. That's the one I'll say right now. You cannot vote for that guy at all. Point blank. Period. Really, on everything I love. Mike Morosky is a cancer to Cincinnati School Board.
What? You sound ridiculous. You didn't take your medicine this morning.
Oh, see, there you go. What's up?
You
with
didn't take your medicine this morning. You must have been up all night. You must be sleepy and you're unmedicated, bro. And you sound crazy as hell.
Well, you know, you can have your opinion. That's my opinion.
It's just an opinion.
I was up watching football, which was entertaining. But after that, I went to bed real quick. But Mike Morosky, hell no. Hell no.
Okay, bro.
No way, bro. All right. Have a good day, comrade.
Take it easy, man. Listen, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, but what that brother just said don't make no damn sense whatsoever. And how you gonna tell the people in high school what's best for them and your ass ain't been in high school in 25 years? Graduated in 1991, talking about they don't know what's going on in the schools. What? Yeah, they ain't been in high school in 30 years. Talk about they don't know. Please stop. I take people for their word. They're there every day. They know better than I do. And I think that I'll say it again. I can see it both ways, but I think that we should continue the conversation about SROs and perhaps try making some changes. There could be a better way of doing it. They got us convinced that the only way that we can offer security to our children is with Cincinnati police officers. They got us convinced. Whenever there's a problem, throw a Cincinnati police officer in there. Not to say that these SROs individually aren't good people. I know a bunch of them, really good people. But it's the system. Like I told you, I had a meeting at my daughter's school where they brought the SRO in as muscle. Like he was sitting to my left. Didn't open his mouth, didn't ask him a question. I'm like, why is he here? Why you got the police officer with the gun belt and everything sitting next to me? And that was because of the administrators using them as muscle. Didn't ask him a question. The man didn't open his mouth until I asked him a question. But they figured, oh, okay, we gonna, 6'4" black man. Oh, you all in your whatever. Okay, we gonna temper that. But they just didn't know. I already know the brother. Sometimes we know each other. So we had talked beforehand and then we huddle up afterward. And he was trying to put me on game like, Nate, here's what it is. I'm like, what? So they doing that with me. They doing that with other folks. So I believe that there are some inherent issues with having police officers in our schools that needs to be fully addressed and analyzed. And we need to try something different. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It ain't saying, you ain't saying nothing negative about SROs themselves, because these are good people. I know 4 SROs. All good people. All good people. So it ain't them. It's just the way they're used and the position that they're in sometimes is bigger than them. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Captain Obvious strikes again. Hilarious. Oh my God. This is funny. Drop Jess. He tried to switch up the game this morning. He tried to switch up the game. Brian writes, whatever anybody said about Shannon, he opened a big door for black conscious announcers who can make pointed commentary. All respect to Stephen A., but he is also George Jefferson. Shannon may play around with Skip and act country. It ain't that he act country. It's something about that whole routine. that I just don't like. You know, it's some old step and fetch it type shit that I just don't like. I like Shannon. The first year Shannon was there, remember all this shit was going on with George Floyd? Shannon was A1. He was on point, giving this analysis that was on point, and also giving this analysis about the what was going on in our society socially, right, and politically. He was on point, but I was scared. What am I scared? It's two-step and fetch it for me. I don't like that. Take that out and just keep being a strong black man that you are. You know what I'm saying? Give your analysis. But I feel you though, Brian, 100%. But Stephen A has said it's damaging to black people. They can almost always count on Stephen to side with the owners of every sport over the players. That's true, he does. That's true. That's true, he does. Yeah, I picked up on that. He's always playing to the power structure, which, you know, some might say is smart, some might say it's not. You know, it is what it is. Dill writes, C Drop knows nothing of narrative in Nubia. He can bring his gaslighting talk on that platform without getting shut down rhetorically. I'm gonna check them out, man. I'm gonna start me an account on both of those. I want to check them out. Not gold star for drop. I'm hollering, right? This man actually was objective a little bit. Talking about some Democrats and Republicans. I'm like, what? Wow. That's why God allowed me to live to this day, so I can see that. I can die now. Jenny writes, good morning, Nana Choppers. Good morning to you. Dale writes, I use Facebook to stay in touch and watch you, Nate, plus playing spades. That's it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I stay on Facebook to stay in touch with y'all. I use it as a major platform to connect with the audience. But, you know, I got my issues with it. It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do sometimes. Kevin writes, lying takes too much energy. It does, man. I gave up lying a long time ago. I ain't no better. I did. I had I don't do all that. I keep either there's some things I just don't do, or when I do them, I fucking own them. This is what I did. This is why I did it. And let the chips fall what they may. But all that lying shit, I don't lie. I ain't got time for it because I'm going to forget it. To be honest with you. Like, oh, what did I tell you? Rather than do all of that, I'll just keep it 100 with you. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It is what it is. Morning Choppers, you can vote today. That's right. That's right. David's on point. Absolutely. Akeem writes, what them COVID numbers gonna look like after Lil Baby concert? Oh, man. Next to last council forum and the mayoral forum is Wednesday. Council tonight and October the 12th. Okay, thank you, David. Appreciate it. Dale writes, Black Star Network is up now. I have the app. Do you? Download the app real quick. What other shows are on the app? I mean, I love what I keep telling you, man, I got nothing but respect for Roland Martin and what he's doing. I keep saying it. Hold on, I'm getting the app right now. Oh, here it is. Okay, great. He got over 5,000 downloads. Let me download this right now. I like it. Black Star, the name of one of my favorite groups. I almost used that name myself. Hell, I might still actually. Bought a couple of those names with that name. I'm gonna open it right now. Let me open and see what I'm getting. I just want to explore. Oh man, I like it. All right, I like it. Okay, I like it, Roland. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. I'm on it right now. So you can see I'm on it right now. I love it. I love it. So right now, okay, nice. Yeah, he's gonna have to see. A lot of it is his content, and I ain't mad about that because he's got a lot of really good content. But the question is going to be is, oh, I love it. I love the branding of it and everything. Okay, dopeness. Okay. So we have to figure out. So the next step for him is, I'm sure next year they're going to announce more shows and hosts and things like that. So that'll be dope. That'll be dope. Ryan Clark is better than Michael Irvin because Ryan Clark can be entertaining without that whole, I don't know what the hell Michael Irvin be on sometime. And then sometimes his lip be so chapped. I'm like, damn, bro, you don't drink no water? Get you some green tea. Good morning to you. Where are we? Sheila writes, hey, they needed an ambulance, not police. The school nurse could provide medical care until the ambulance arrived. Exactly, Sheila. That's what I thought. I'm like, Black Russia's saying that this is the reason why I need SROs because it was a police officer there. That's not what the brother whoever got shot needed. They needed emergency medical assistance. Are officers trained to deal with some emergency medical assistance in the moment on the scene? Of course they are. But that was not the best argument to make. I'm reading this article though, and if you don't know, of course, it was a shooting near Woodward High School on Monday. The officers were called to the Walgreens on Seymour Avenue around 5 p.m. A male student was shot in the arm and then went back to the school for help. That's great that the school is there. Not the SROs, but the school is there. All right. He had a non-life-threatening injury, but here's some of the quotes that get to me. Quote, police say they are frustrated with the violence. Here's a typo with Local 12. Police say they are frustrated with the violence. It would be with the amount of violence involving young people in 2021. Quote, it's absolutely ridiculous that we have people being shot while attending school or on school activities. This is from Sergeant Kelvin Lynn. He continues, this is senseless, unnecessary, and should be absolutely unacceptable to anyone. To every single parent, citizen, resident, visitor, it's unacceptable. Now, I don't know Sergeant Kevin Lynn, so I'm not going to really pile on, but these are the type of quotes that piss me off. And this is the reason why we can't these kind of conversation and narrative lines prevent us from dealing with the root cause here. We make this same, when a police officer kick a mofo in the head and his hands tied behind his back, you don't hear this kind of vitriol. You don't hear people say, oh, this is absolutely senseless and unnecessary and absolutely unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to every single police officer and Hamilton County sheriff. You don't hear all that. They don't go all hard like that. But when it's crime involving Black folks, we want to, oh, it's ridiculous. One of the biggest misnomers is this idea that when it's a shooting that is senseless. That ain't true. There's some logic behind it. Somebody says some ish that was done. We might think it's small, but to say that it's senseless don't really speak to the situation. There's some sense behind it. There's some logic behind it. Somebody got shot for some reason. We might not agree with it. We might think it's small. It doesn't rise to the level of that. But this country was founded on violence. This idea that there's never a reason to use violence is hogwash. The police use violence. The police use violence to so-called uphold the law. So stop with this. It's unfair. This nonsense about, oh, it's senseless. No, there's a reason behind it. Usually, when we get to the bottom of these things, there's some reasons behind it. Somebody got shot for a reason. We might not think that the reason should rise to the level of violence, but I hate that. I hate the way they talk about this. It's senseless. It's unnecessary. Well, I think it's unnecessary to, to embark in high-speed chases when perpetrators haven't really committed no big-time crimes, but they do it anyway. It's a lot of shit that's unnecessary that we do anyway. It should be absolutely unacceptable to everyone. See, that's an accusation on the community. It is absolutely unacceptable to everyone except for the people that's pulling the trigger. See, this is subtle. It's subtle, but it's powerful. Here's a quote from Sergeant Kelvin Lynn. I don't know Sergeant Kelvin Lynn. I don't know if he's black or white. I'm sure he's a good brother or sister. I don't know. I don't know who the brother is or who the man is. I have no idea. I'm just going off of these quotes that's attributed to him in Local 12. And should be absolutely unacceptable to everyone. Well, that's the way we feel about the police that brutalize us. We feel as if it should be absolutely unacceptable to every member of law enforcement. But members of law enforcement don't come forward and tell us when they see other members of law enforcement doing something wrong. That's what's senseless. When I see these brothers and sisters, hands behind their back, getting slapped around, that's senseless. That's what's unnecessary. This is street shit. There's a reason behind this. I mean, money, talking slick and greasy, a woman. There's some reason behind why somebody got shot. Or maybe there was joyriding and just shooting. But there's probably going to be a reason behind this when we cover it all up. I mean, when we uncover and unpack it all. And should be absolutely unacceptable to everyone. It is absolutely unacceptable to everyone except for the person that pulled the trigger. It already is. Police say they have at least 2 suspects in custody who are also teenagers. Okay. Well, ask them why they did it. They'll tell you why. I'm sure they'll tell you, and there's probably a reason behind it. It's absolutely ridiculous that we have people being shot while attending school or on school activities. Absolutely ridiculous. In today's world, it's not absolutely ridiculous. I send my daughter to school every day, and in the back of my mind, I'm afraid that there's going to be an active shooter at her school. Somebody's kid that has some kind of emotional or mental issues, or mommy didn't love them enough, or dad didn't love them enough, or the kids being bullied and CPS didn't do that. And think about that every single day. I mean, reason to it. I don't know. Maybe I'm going off for nothing, but unnecessary. It's a lot of shit that's unnecessary. I seen a man who was face down. His arms was behind his back. He was already in custody, and a sheriff deputy walked over to him and kicked him in the face. Now that shit was unnecessary. Now that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. What happened to Timothy Thomas was unnecessary and ridiculous. Now that shit was ridiculous right there. There was a black man many years ago who was having a health event, and police had pulled him over. And during the event, during the pullover, Hamilton County Sheriff deputies pulled him over. He's an older black dude, had an office downtown. I forget his name. And so he was unable to respond to the sheriff deputies because he was having a medical episode. These motherfuckers dragged him out the damn car, whooped his ass on the streets, and we, the taxpayers, ended up having to pay him off. Now that was ridiculous. What happened to the brother over here, we talked about it during the last NAACP forum. Dude was mentally ill. He walking from the park. He ended up getting tased a bunch of times. That shit was ridiculous. That's unacceptable. We need to change the way we talk about these things here. That shit was senseless. Man's mentally challenged, or he's got some things he's dealing with. He walking from the park, ain't did nothing wrong to nobody, gets approached by Cincinnati police. Because he doesn't respond in the way they think he should, they end up tasing this man and arresting him. And guess who's going to pay for it? Hamilton County taxpayers going to pay for it. Now that shit was senseless. That's unnecessary. That's absolutely ridiculous. That should be totally unacceptable to every parent, citizen, sheriff deputy, politician. We got to change the way we talk about these incidences. We want to go super hard when 2 teenagers shoot each other. Then we want to go super light when it's a member of law enforcement that's trained, that should know better when they do this shit. Don't get me started, man, because it's near the end of the show, and I want to serve this energy for later. I'm talking about senseless. Get the hell out of here. Unnecessary. You can get the hell out of here. Unacceptable, man. I seen a black man who was a realtor. He was showing a house over on the west side. We talked with the brother here on the show. Somebody called in. It was a former police officer telling him, I think they're breaking into the house. Man had a whole key and everything. He minded his own black business. Police meet him as he coming out with guns blazing. We ended up having to pay that out as a city. That was senseless. That was unnecessary. That was absolutely unacceptable. We need to change, again, for the fourth time, the way we talk about these so-called incidences here. We need to figure out what happened with these teenagers. They fucking teenagers. Their brains ain't even developed. Their brains ain't even developed. They're doing dumb. Every teenager does dumb-ish. Some more dangerous than others. You did it. I did it. We did it. Teenagers are always going to do that. But we want to hit them and talk about the shit they do the way we should be talking about these grown people that everything. Spent months at the police academy and years on the force. Most unacceptable, racist stuff ever. And you just don't hear that same level of rhetoric when it's them. When it's one of them. I mean, I understand why, but David writes, is the coast clear? Depending what you mean. Jericho writes, if we go with his analysis, forget SROs, police should set up remote precincts in schools. No bueno. Right. Dale writes, Russia is an operative. Please don't listen to them. Brent writes, the soft middle is for sale and for entertainment purposes only. Black Iowa is a supporter of Betsy Huckabee Sunderman. I got a chance, speaking of her, if you ever wanted a reason as to why not to vote for Betsy Sunderman, and she'll probably get reelected elected because we always seem to want one of those on city council at least. There always seem to be enough votes from the pro-police or the Republicans or the West Side or the Hyde Park crowd to put at least one, usually two Gilligans on city council every trip. I hope we don't do that this time. But I got a chance to see that special session of whatever committee it was. It was Betsy Sumner's committee. Jean-Michel Lemon-Kearney was there, and David Mann, I believe, was on the committee. Greg Landsman was just stopping in. Man, and you had Greg Hartman and Tom Brinkman. Them mofos went straight off. Y'all see this? Them mofos went straight in, and Betsy Sunderman just sat there like she was enjoying all of it. And it had all to do with the fact that there was a changing of one word in a proposal for the charter amendment. And they went they did the whole dog and pony gang of five. Greg Hartman sitting there talking to Greg Landsman, talking about, well, you're with the gang of five. So I'm like, gang of five? Listen, folks, we don't need that energy on city council. We don't need that. I was sitting there. I was so unimpressed. And I told Jean-Michel Lemon-Kearney that Betsy Sunderman is not your friend. And Betsy Sunderman sat right there while Brinkman and Hartman, in my opinion, lightweight disrespected Jean-Michel Lemon-Kearney, and Betsy Sunderman didn't say a word. In fact, she was like, well, I think they're bringing up some good points. Stop. Lose that zero and get with the heroes, Jean-Michel Lemon-Kearney. I don't get it. I guess it's, she got to do what she got to do to get elected. But I keep saying, I'll say it again. Betsy Sunderman will stab her in the back as soon as it is politically expedient. As soon as it is politically expedient, she'll stab her in the back Caesar style. And we saw just a little bit of that in that special session on Thursday. I meant to talk about it on Friday. I forgot. On Monday, forgot today is Tuesday. I could play it for you. It is worth your time. They went in. All kind of crazy accusations. They was accusing the city workers of being a part of some diabolical plot. And I'm sitting here thinking, this is ridiculous. Another reason why I will never vote for Tom Brinkman. Because We did the dog and pony partisan bickering back and forth. We did that already. That's what Smitherman did. We already had that energy. It was a waste of time. And I'm not voting for anybody that's going to go back down to city council and do the same old dumb shit all over again. I ain't doing it. I ain't got time for it. So speaking of time, it's about that time. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, early voting begins today. You can early vote beginning today. All right. You can early vote at the Hamilton County Board of Elections over in Norwood, Ohio. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. I'll leave you with a word from one of today's sponsors. And we'll pick back up tomorrow morning. Well, really, we'll pick back up today at 6 p.m. Check out the NAACP City Council Forum. I'll be your moderator. Looking forward to it. As you can tell, my energy's in the right place. I'm ready for this. I'm built for this, all right? So have an excellent rest of your Tuesday. Make it a tremendous Tuesday. Make things happen for yourself, all right? And we'll catch up real soon. Remember our motto, everybody. Winners focus on winning. And losers focused on winning. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.
Good morning, Choppers. I'm Scotty Johnson, candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Unfortunately, injustice remains in the city of Cincinnati. A remedy for injustice is courageous, bold leadership. I plan on bringing that type of leadership to City Hall. It's time to stop talking about it and to start doing something about it. Disparities have been in Cincinnati far too long. I'm the candidate to address those disparities. Vote Scotty Johnson for Cincinnati City Council.
Paid for by friends of Scotty Johnson.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my gut, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw all my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Any